everything stated in this video is my opinion and my opinion only. And just like everything else in these cases we discuss here on this channel, everything is alleged. Good evening. How are y'all doing tonight? Let me make sure this microphone is where you can hear me. Oh, good. Y'all might have heard that because I had to touch it. Sorry, guys. How is everyone doing? Let's say hi for a few minutes. Hey, Grandma. Hey there, Steph. Lorena. How are y'all doing? Villainous Cupcakes. How you doing? Hey there, Dawn. Hey, Gina. Hi, Kevin. Hey, I've got something to say. How you doing? I have a serious problem on document 4 where there is a list of the photographs that were taken of the crime scene and none of them are of the sheath. Ooh. Interesting. I don't know if we went over that one yet. That doesn't ring a bell for me. Huh. Interesting. Document 4. You mean like supplement 4? The one that we went over? I'm going to have to go back over that one. Because I know that none of them are saying that they saw anything. The only thing I can really think of is that they weren't allowed to move them. Because if it wasn't completely like tucked under Maddie's leg, I feel like it would have been seen like offhand automatically. The only excuse I can make with that is that they didn't notice it until ISP went to like move the bodies and take photos of like everything else. Maybe I don't know how they're going to explain that. But I'm assuming they haven't shown anything about how yet, because no one is mentioning that. Like first mention of the sheath is not apparently coming up. Hey there, Cammie. Jeannieville, how you doing? Hey, Elise. So yeah, I don't know. I know that y'all are in there talking about the car and how it does seem like they are sort of aware that it's like their own vehicle just based off of the descriptions that they're giving. Yeah, I have more reasonable doubt more than ever before. It's just so insane. Yeah, I wish the judge would come out and talk. I wish that he would come out and give an interview. Now, I know that the people that work for the Idaho Statesman, they did a panel thing today. I recorded the whole thing. I'm going to put a filter on it, flip it around, put my disclaimer on it, and we'll probably go live and go over it tomorrow. There's a couple of these interviews that I've been wanting to go over, but we've been trying to get through the documents. So we're going to be doing that soon here. Hey there, delete this. How you doing? Don't call the cops for 8 hours and lie. Get rewarded with 30K plus. Bro, she's like upped that. Well, not her. Whoever the frick is running it has upped it like 3 or 4 times now. Like changed the goal like 3 or 4 times. And I'm just like, why in the world would you wait until we're here to do this? And I really do feel like she was trying to get a feel for how the world was going to take her sob story, because she knows that the majority of people are not paying attention to the documents that can see all of the truth. It's just so gross. Hey there, Sadie. Yeah, she has a GoFundMe. It's like hella gone crazy. It's like 60-something thousand, I think, now. Hey there, KLGB. I don't know. I put it on the community post the second that it popped up, or the second I was aware of it. But I honestly haven't cared to look. I'm just like following comments. I know that it was originally something else, and then it went to 22,000, and then it went to like 30-something thousand, and then it went to 40-something thousand, and I'm pretty sure it's like above that already. Yeah, every time she met her goal, she kept raising it. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And she's actually considered a victim of the burglary. Therefore, victim services would pay for all of her mental health through the victim's advocates. If I would have paid out of pocket for any counseling or anything therapy wise, the state of Texas would have had to have reimbursed me. So yeah. And she's apparently been doing like gaming therapy and spiritual therapy and like all this weird stuff. So there's no telling how much her fake holistic crap probably is. I highly doubt. Plus, like, her family's loaded. Her family is loaded. So what are you doing? Hey there, Miller Time. 44,000. It's not shocking. It is. Hey there, Sherry and Barney. Hey there, Jen. Yeah, and that's what also like annoys me. Like they say that about people that want to come out here and talk about the case, but they won't go over there and say the same thing to Brian Inton or to Trashley Banfield or to Nancy Grace. They're all doing the exact same thing that we're doing. Going over the documents, putting videos out, having discussions. So why is it okay for them? Why is it okay for them whenever they don't even pay attention? These idiots in mainstream thought the whole time that the Goncalveses were part of the gag order. And as soon as it lifted, oh my God, now you can tell me everything, bro. No, actually they can't because they don't know shit. It's just amazing to me all the people that have been covering this for so long and just like don't really know what the hell they're talking about. Hey there, Patty. It's absolutely wild. Hey, Bryce. Hello, Jane. JD should be Jack Decor, but there's been like other ones. There's so many freaking initials now. There's a lot. Well, thank you, Ray. I mean, I wouldn't recommend just watching my channel. Like I always recommend always going to get like other opinions and stuff. But I know that a lot of people are sort of gotten to the point to where they've focused only on like a few. I get that comment like a lot, honestly. I get that comment a super lot. There's just a lot of people that haven't been able to like watch ever since the stuff started like coming out because they're like, what are you? There's no way we're looking at the same thing. I'm actually getting like really disappointed about all that. You mean, do they mention him like actually? Because I haven't gotten to a document where they've mentioned him actually. Just a document where they've mentioned the initials BK and about like some guy painting the apartment and seeing like a weapon in there. And I just freaking figured it was Kopaka. So I'm looking forward to that one. Okay, we're going to go ahead and, oh, thank you for the $1.99. You were always so pretty and your makeup is on fire. Well, thank you. I had a little bit of extra time today and my hair isn't as dry as I wanted it to be. But that's okay too. Thank you for the $1.99, Gladiator. No, but I have seen screenshots about the damn fridge. I don't know how we're here. Like, I don't know how we're here. Okay. Put a 1 in the chat if you've seen the Moscow traffic stop. I'm not going to play it here because I did a video review reaction video to it already, but I want to know how many of y'all have actually watched it because it came out today. A lot. Okay. So tell me what y'all thought. No, like red flags. Okay, so let's switch it up. Put a 2 now in the chat if you felt like there was something wrong. Put a 1 in the chat if you felt like it was normal and that didn't show any red flags. And put a 2 if you feel like something was cray-cray about it. Right? Was it wearing my seatbelt? Like, so crazy. Did you see Law and Crime? Let's, you know what? Let's review Law and Crime for a second, simply for the comments. Hopefully they didn't go in there and delete because people were like, is the chilling question in the room with us? I was like, yeah, what is that? They tried to make this out to be something so much more than it was, and everyone is calling them out on it. It's beautiful in the comments. It's absolutely beautiful. Okay, let's see. Yeah, like this first one is, wow, Law and Crime. I'll hardly be able to sleep tonight because of the chilling questions he asked in this video. I'm so glad that people are starting to call these idiots out. Like, you don't need to do any of that. You don't need to do any of that. Like, we can see it. You don't need to act like there's some chilling questions. What's the chilling question? That he asked what the officer would have done if he would have actually lied to him? Absolutely nothing, because the officer didn't know anything about him not having a seatbelt on. He's probably more like trying to see how honest the cop is. I think that's what it was. It was more like, now that you know that I, was honest with you, do you consider the fact that I was honest with you, or does that just not matter? And you're going to act like this is really like the ticket that you deserve to be writing when in reality, you didn't even do your job. I think he was testing the honesty of the police officer. But look right here. Wow, Law and Crime. I'll hardly be able to sleep tonight because of the chilling questions he asked in this video. I want to press charges for luring, tricking us into watching this video. I watched the video from beginning to end and still wondering where were the chilling questions. Not a single chilling question was asked. Kohberger was more honest than Law and Crime. Are the chilling questions in the room with us? Let's see. A better headline would have been when the police got his phone number. Yeah. What's chilling is the amount of views this will get because you use an unnecessary word chilling in the title. Yeah. Sounds very normal here. Like we're forcefully looking for weirdness. I'm glad people are starting to like realize where are the chilling questions? What was a chilling question? Because he was curious if anyone lies about the seatbelt or what happens. Guilty or not, that is not chilling. That's curiosity. Yeah, chilling questions. Are you kidding me? The headline's a bit dramatic. Plus, he was much more cordial with this guy than he was with the lady. Not at all. They were the exact same, honestly. Yeah, like everyone's like, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, I don't know what they're talking about either. That bright blue shirt. Bro is not stalking anybody in the middle of the night in that bright ass blue shirt. I feel like he was either shopping or he was on a date. He was clean, bro. No stubble. Okay. Clean haircut, like to the skin, and in like jeans and a blue shirt. I don't feel like he was. You're not going out and stalking anybody in the middle of the darkness in a bright blue shirt that's going to end up like getting some sort of reflection off of it. Like wild. And like what's really making me mad, and I can't even say the name. I can't even say the name because I have so much respect for this person, but she's so irritating the hell out of me. Like I watched like the first maybe like 2 minutes of her reviewing this video, and I wanted to put a comment so bad. I actually wrote a comment out and then I just deleted it because I'm like, man, I'm trying to not be that person. Like I'm really trying not to, because everyone's entitled to their opinion. Okay. I've never ever said that no one is entitled to have a different opinion than me. That's just absolutely stupid. Okay. But whenever you're sitting here and you're like, why was he over there? What was the purpose? Have you forgotten what the state said about what this 404 evidence was for? Identification purposes only. Have we forgotten that it was the judge that put that this was for something other than what the state said it was for, because the judge is a paid freaking actor? So we're just going to forget that this was literally just to prove he had a white Hyundai Elantra. This was his name, this was his address, and this was his phone number. We're going to pretend like it meant something else? That's what we going to do? I'm sorry, but I'm not doing that. No. I know who you mean by OPM, but no. Yeah, I feel like he was on a date. He might have been on a date. He's wearing like jeans and a bright ass cobalt blue shirt, bro. Like there ain't no way he was out doing some crazy shit in a bright ass cobalt blue shirt. Okay, let's go ahead and get through some of these. I don't know if we're going to get through all 304, like the rest of them, because we're starting on 251 and there's 314. So technically we could. So we'll see. We shall see. Okay, this first one is Lawrence Mowry. Anything with his name on it is a warrant, a search warrant of some sort. Let me get this right now so I don't have to move it again. I actually can't wait till like these are done so that I can go back and get like the main points of Boo Boo, because holy crap, all of this at one time is insane to me. Oh, actually, before we get started, I wanted to show you guys this. Salty Sleuth posted these. I honestly don't know where she got them. Okay. I haven't been out trying to find a whole bunch of stuff. I've been just doing shit all day and then knew we were going to go through the documents. But this is apparently the house that they were going to have in court. This is apparently the house. This is what the Pharaoh scannings paid for. This is a literal dollhouse. Like, seriously, give it to a 5-year-old. How much did this crap cost? I would really love to know. Because the scanning was a lot of money. Like, I know Architect said something about like $500,000. I don't know how much this shit cost. I mean, it looks just as weak as the other house did. Because that damn thing was like cardboard. Very morbid, inexpensive dollhouse. Yeah. Absolutely insane. Thank you for the 10 Miller time. Jules, I did something really bad in Gray Hugh's comments. I told him I bought 100 gifted memberships to your channel and that he is the problem on his channel with all his begging and how he treats people. I can't stand him. He makes me sick to my stomach, especially since he's got some sort of like weird fetish with Dylan. I don't care. The way that he talks about her, especially, bro probably has pictures on his computer of Dylan he don't need to have on his computer is all I'm going to say, because that's the kind of vibe I get from him. So what I also don't understand is how he sits there and like basically berates people for not giving him money during his lives. Like he has some sort of like goal thing up on his chat on his channel, and he like berates people if they don't give him money. Okay, but I'm the bad guy. And remember, like, those are the kind of people that, like, the Goncalveses, Steve especially, likes to gravitate towards. People like Gray Hughes and JLR. Okay. Lawrence Mowry, additional response from Facebook. This one's interesting. Honestly, a lot of these warrants are interesting because there's a lot of technical difficulties, which just like the refrigerator thing that we're going to end up coming across, I want to go through and get all of these out because this is like the second or third one where we've seen them literally having some sort of technical difficulty at one of the social media sites to where something came in incorrectly. And so now here's the new information. We had this tech error and this was the problem and it affected this dates. And now here, oh, we fixed it. Did you? Because do we really know if you did? There's been like more of that in here than I feel comfortable with. Okay, additional response from Facebook. On November 22nd, 2023, I received 2 emails from Facebook in reference to case number blank. The email stated, we became aware of an issue where a previous production associated with this case may have been incomplete. The issue only impacted comments. The supplemental records are now available for download. On November 27th, 2023, I logged into the Facebook law enforcement portal and downloaded the files. He has a case number and it was saved to the computers. See, all of this is like cool that they gave it to us or whatever, but you're not really telling us much. You're not really telling us much of anything. Like, I just can't wait for the actual evidence stuff. Who freaking frick is SP? Okay, James Fry, Chief Fry, on 12/12 of 23, had an audio recorded interview of somebody with the initials SP in reference to supplemental report 77. Well, let's just go grab that one and see what that one was about because I don't remember. Let's go look right now. Come on. Load it up. Okay. So we're looking at 77. Oh. SP in Idaho called about. Okay, I don't know. Hold on. I asked P if I could get the individual's name. P told me the person's name was G or G, later identified as GM. Oh, I remember this one because it says like dash 2003. And I'm like, are they dead? Why are we talking about this then? P told me he did not know the individual's last name, but believed he knew where he lived. P told me he lived in the blank apartments. P told me this apartment is just off of blank avenue, then turned into blank lane, and then right onto blank street. And the apartment is across from the blank blank. P told me G lives in the apartments. Okay, P began by explaining to me that he had done a lot of work for DK, who was the prior owner of blank. P told me he has been a friend of the family for many years and has done handyman jobs in the past for D. P told me in 2020 he drove D, his daughter L, and G up to the place the family goes to have vacation almost every year. P told me after they got there, R, who is one of D's sisters, got into an altercation with the male who was camped near where they were. I remember this. This is the guy that has the wood, the pile of wood with the knife, and said that he like followed them to the Mad Greek. Yup. This is that one. This is the weird guy. I'm glad that we're coming back across this one more time because I forgot all Not about this guy, but I forgot which freaking one it talked about. This is number 77. This is the dude that literally told a friend of his that he's pissed off at the school because he blames the school for how messed up apparently his mother is, that he followed Maddie and Xana to the Mad Greek from the college one time, and then also followed them home to see where they lived. And then he told someone else that he was in the home waiting for them one day and could have taken them out then, but didn't. That's this guy. Right here. They had no idea I was there. I could have if I wanted to. I'm sorry. Okay, so this was, what day did he take this interview? I'm glad that we came back across this one. Okay, so this interview was on 12/13/22. Bro. Yeah, I want to know who this psychopath is. I want to know who this dude is. SP is the person that Fry. Wow, Fry talked to this guy on the 13th too? Wow, the chief is paying extra attention to this one. How interesting is that? So now, okay, so is this the same date? Hold on a second. Why are we doing this? Okay, this is 12/13. This is the one from 77. This is 12/13. A whole year later, he calls and does an interview with SP again a whole year later. This is 12/12/23. The original from 77 is 12 something something of 22. Why, James Fry? Are you contacting this person almost a year after you have arrested your suspect? Oh, never mind. He booked in the audio recording. Okay, question again. Different question. Why are you booking in this audio interview a year after you did it? Where was it sitting up until then? Was it in hiding somewhere so that nobody can get to it? Because I'm sorry, how do you not look at this person? Why are we doing something with this a whole year later? This is all the way down to number 252. This guy's creepy, and I want to know who this is. I want to know who this person is. Because they have it against the school. They obviously followed Maddie and Xana. I want to know who SP is, because you obviously have a story to tell. James Fry probably needs to be talked to about that one if you want to be so serious. Okay. I can get rid of this other page. Yeah. I'm really curious about who this DK person is. I can't tell if they're like older or if they're like the son of somebody. I'm going to print that one out and review it more. Okay. This is number 253 from Lawrence Mowry. So it's additional response from Instagram. Between December 6, 2023 and December 14th, 2023, I received several emails from Facebook in reference to internal case number blank, 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 and blank. The email stated, we became aware of an issue where a previous production associated with the case may have been incomplete. So this is saying basically Instagram and Facebook then? Like all of Meta? Because 251 was the same thing. This is 251. Additional response from Facebook talking about the same problem. But this says additional response from Instagram, but it's the same company. So Instagram and Facebook comments were screwed up. That's interesting. It only impacted comments. So does that mean that like if people were leaving like bad comments on people's stuff that they weren't going to be able to actually track them and see them? Gotta love technology. Okay, Brett Payne. It says no redactions needed. And it's Detective Tollison's notes from the autopsy. Okay. Okay. Well, there's really not gonna. It's not gonna even show anything. It just says on Thursday, February 22nd, 2024. I received an email from Detective Sergeant Gilbertson containing 2 scanned documents. The documents were notes taken by ISP Detective Tollison during the autopsies of the 4 victims in this case. Why are we just now attaching these? This is February 22nd of 2024. So where, for over a year now, have these notes been sitting? 2 years now. Year and a half now? From December, December, because the date on the autopsies is like December 17th. So we'll just go with December 17th. So from December of 2022 to February 2024, the notes were not attached where they needed to be. Where were they the whole time? Whose desk were they on? Talk about sloppy. And this is not just like Moscow being sloppy, because now this is ISP and the FBI being sloppy too. Okay, Danny Vargas, 2/22/24, X-rays of the victims. February 22nd, 2024, I received a thumb drive from coroner Kathy Mabbitt, which contained X-rays of Chapin, Kernodle, Mogen, and Goncalves at the Spokane coroner's office during the autopsies. I booked the thumb drive into MPD evidence. Do you guys remember whenever they first talked about the X-rays that Ann Taylor said that instead of giving them like the full X-rays, they gave them like a printout with like the little thumbnails of the X-rays on the paper or whatever, like just the thumbnails. Like, I'm sorry. What? All of Idaho is just sloppy. Hella sloppy. Okay. Danny Vargas again, 2/27/24. X-rays shared via OneDrive from Spokane Medical Examiner's Office. On February 27th, 2024, I downloaded the X-rays for Goncalves, Mogen, Chapin, and Kernodle, which were shared via OneDrive from LA, Spokane County Medical Examiner's Office, to Ashley Jennings, Lachelle County Prosecutor's Office. I copied the X-rays to a DVD and booked the DVD into MPD evidence. I had previously booked in a thumb drive with images provided to me by Coroner Mabbitt. The images were thumbnails of the actual images. So Mabbitt is the one that was responsible for just sending over the thumbnail. Okay. Okay. It's really like all I can even say anymore. Okay. Brett Payne. More about the soil? That's another one. Because that's like 2 documents now for the soil. Plastic shovel. So hilarious. Like, I get that, like, people at camp and stuff, like, take shovels. You know, because I know, like, you're supposed to, like, you know, always put the fires out and do all those things. But I don't know what good a plastic shovel can do in dirt. I feel like you kind of, like, need metal to make a hole. But I guess that's just, like, me. I guess I could be wrong. Okay, Brett Payne, 3/1/24, Soil Provenance Report. And it says, on Friday, March 1st, 2024, I received an email from FBI geologist IS containing the report completed, reference to soil found on the shovel recovered from Kohberger's white Elantra. I attached the PDF to this report to the Spillman case file. The summary of the report is as follows. The soil on the shovel is consistent with spoil found in the Moscow area based off of blank analysis. The report also stated the soil was likely not from anywhere east of Moscow. Okay, so not the direction where they were originally looking. You guys remember whenever we went over some of the like old articles and it showed that they were like all the way over here, all the way to the east of Moscow in like Troy. And I think the other town is named Kendrick or something like that. Like it's like dude names. But I remember it being that way. Like they were going 25 miles that direction. But then whenever we get to PCA, everything about Bryan Kohberger is like down and around instead of where they were actually looking. The report also stated the soil was likely not from anywhere east of Moscow. This finding also excluded Pennsylvania as a likely source for the soil. The report stated the soil from the shovel displayed characteristics of soil carried to the area via a water source, though this could have been recent or any point in the area's geological history. So it could have also been like soil that had remnants from like melted snow in it to make it seem like it traveled through water, because it's just got like water remnants in it. During conversation with S, he stated the exact area the samples came from would likely not be attainable due to the prominence of the mineral compounds from the samples that are found throughout Moscow area. So he could have used it at any point. I highly doubt that you're going to go out, with their thinking, and try to bury a weapon that you just took 4 lives with a plastic shovel. How far you think you're gonna get? I just don't understand their logic here. I mean, he could have been digging for rocks. He could have been digging for anything in the damn water. I mean, if he hikes, maybe he collects certain things. I mean, we don't know. But a plastic shovel, I don't know what you think he's trying to accomplish with that. I'm just saying. Okay. Danny Vargas. Kohberger jail mail. Let's see. On February 2024, I received digital images of Kohberger's mail from 7/13/23 to 2/7/24 from the Latell County Jail. I copied the items onto a DVD and booked the DVD into MPD evidence. I'm sure they have everything from prior to 7/13 too. Okay, 259. Electronic data discovery. On who is this? Okay, Lawrence Mowry. On April 19th, 2023, I met with defense counsel Ann Taylor to provide data from various evidentiary items. The data was copied and hash verified into a Synology RAID drive previously provided by AJ. Ashley Jennings. Like, who knows? Okay. Okay. Next. 260. Brett Payne. Report of potential jury survey. This was 3/11/24. Whew. Yeah, that jury survey, as soon as that went everywhere, man, if that didn't blow Santa's top right off his big old gray head. Okay. On Friday, March 8th, 2024, I received an email from P.A. Thompson referenced the receipt of a phone survey. The recipient, NB, stated someone called her and began to ask questions about the Kohberger trial, to include questions about how B felt about the case. See below for B's information provided via email Word document. Phone number 1 lasted 18 minutes. You're so mad about the survey, you stayed on the damn phone with them for almost 20 minutes. You are the Karen of the town, or I can bet you right now, you the Karen of the town. Stated they were a company performing a survey among the community in relation to the Bryan Kohberger case. Home dude didn't even spell Brian's name right. Oh, well, it's a lady. Okay, that's fine. They verified if I was a Latell County resident and which city I considered myself a resident. Here is a small list of the questions that I can remember. These questions are not verbatim, but the general sense of what I can remember being asked. Have I read, listened to, or seen any newsreels regarding Bryan Kohberger and or the families of the victims? Have I read, listened to, or seen any television or movie documentaries regarding Bryan Kohberger and or of the families or victims? Yeah, like dozens. Were you aware of any television, movies, or documentaries concerning Bryan Kohberger on sources like Netflix? Multiple. What sources have you listened to, read, or seen as a source of information? Everybody and the mama. Can you name the specific newspapers, news stations, or source of information that you received your knowledge of the case? She probably said News Nation. Have I heard or participated in any rumors surrounding Bryan Kohberger, the victims, or their families? I responded no, but that I've heard rumors regarding law enforcement involved in the case. Oh, the town has heard rumors about law enforcement, but hasn't heard any rumors about the suspect? Miss Ma'am, do tell. I'd love to know. In a general statement, how would you describe the community has been affected by the murders? Has the murders caused anyone you know or yourself any excess stress? Do you feel the community has felt an excess of stress since it happened? Do you know a student that attends U of I? Do you know or are related to law enforcement or anyone directly involved with the case? In a general statement, do you feel Bryan Kohberger could receive a fair trial? Do you think if you were asked to serve on a jury, you would be able to serve fairly, weighing the evidence in the case presented? Have you ever driven past the residence in which the murders were committed? Did you ever read, watch, or listen to any reports of Bryan Kohberger's arrest in Pennsylvania? How would you describe how closely you've been following the Bryan Kohberger case? So out of an 18-minute phone call, you were able to verbatim remember 16 questions that were asked to you? Okay. I can't remember much more, and I felt the questions were sometimes redundant, just changing some words here and there, and they were focused on my personal opinion and my opinion of the community surrounding both the victims, their families, and Bryan Kohberger. There were several questions regarding if I felt Kohberger could get a fair trial and if I felt I could impartially or fairly sit on a jury. The questions were just worded differently, but that was a general census they were trying to fill out from me in my responses. On Monday, March 11th, 2024, I received another report from PA Thompson stating J.M. received a similar phone call. I called Miss M and learned the following. The business that called M went by the name Research Strategies, Inc. The company's website, and there's right there, states they conduct various types of surveys to include public opinion surveys and post-trial jury analysis. The phone number provided to Miss M shows up on the Better Business Bureau website for the same company out of Alabama. I checked TLO and found the number used to be associated with a woman in Alabama who passed away in 2011, which further lends to it being the correct number, just reassigned to this business. Okay. I spoke to Miss M, who stated she received the call at approximately 4:51 p.m. on 3/10/24. The first question she was asked was if she was a Latah County resident. There were several questions that followed, which asked generic questions about trials and criminal justice system. Then she stated the woman asked her specifically if she were aware of the Kohberger trial. Ms. M stated she refused to answer, asked the woman who she worked for, Research Strategies with the number provided, who was paying for the survey, and asked for her supervisor. Jesus Christ. The woman gave her the company's number and stated she was unaware of who was responsible for the survey. They don't know that. These are temporary employees, honestly. Ms. M also stated the number the woman called from was blank. This number is not found in TLO. It is likely a Google Voice type number not associated with the person. Yeah, because nobody wants you to have their real number. This is also the number that called B. So it tracks. Miss M stated she posted to her Facebook page asking if anyone else had received similar calls. She stated several people in the Potlatch area had received calls from the same number that called her, but most were not answered. I asked her to keep me posted if she became aware of any further information. My conclusions are this is a legitimate survey requested via this company. Open source searches suggest a study like this would cost into the tens of thousands of dollars. I called the number not provided, it says provide, for Research Strategies, Inc., and was directed to leave a message. The recording also stated I had reached Research Strategies, Inc., tens of thousands of dollars. I'm pretty sure there's a receipt. Somewhere. Jason House. Post review of body-worn camera. Okay, so this guy was there on 11/13. Yeah, that's what I want. I mean, I want it blurred. I don't want to see certain things. I want it blurred out. I don't want that for the families. I don't want all of that out there to the public. You know, there does need to be some blurring. Okay, we don't need every little damn detail and every drop. We don't. But the scene itself and the way the bodies are laying, the position that they're in, the way that all of the red stuff is around them, I want to see all of that. I don't want to see the intricate everything. I want to see the area and what it was like before everyone started touching it and manipulating it. Or at least, you know, as much as we can know, because we don't really know what the hell is going on, literally at all. But at least I'd like to see the camera that shows what Nunez walked into, how people were behaving, what things really looked like, what did the door look like, what did it look like upstairs, what did Murphy really look like, all of those things. I want to see all of that. Okay, again, Jason House. This was, see, and look, this is so ridiculous. 3/13/24, he's writing a report for his experience at King Road on 11/13/22. He's waited this long to write this report. On 3/12/24, I received an email from Detective Corporal Payne asking for a review and detail of my BWC regarding this case and my involvement. Due to my minimal involvement and lack of discovered information, I had not completed a supplement at the time. On 11/13/22, at approximately 14:20 hours, I responded to 1122 King Road to assist with canvassing the immediate area, and I was tasked with conducting door-to-door contact with the blank Queen Road area. I was informed that a likely time of the incident was between approximately 400 and 0445. So see, they knew that from the beginning and still came out here being like, we need everything from 3 to 4. These cops are so ignorant. I was advised that other officers had already covered the south-facing apartments of Queen Road, and I began going door to door on the center and north-facing portions of the apartment complex with Captain Lanier. I spoke with several tenants who stated they did not hear anything strange, and their only attention to 1122 King Road was brought upon by the increased police presence throughout the day. I did not identify the tenants I spoke to who stated they had not been awake or alerted to any unusual sounds, people, or events. Of the tenants I spoke with and did not identify, all gave a similar account of standard party activity and nothing out of the ordinary for a typical Saturday night into Sunday morning. While Captain Lanier and I were conducting door-to-door canvassing, our attention was drawn to dark red colored drops and splotches on several portions of the walkway of the building, particularly on the upper level near apartment blank, and after further inspection, I could see the same colored substance appeared to be rust, which ran down the walls and was on several door jambs, as well as the siding throughout the apartment complex. I checked the walkway back from the area and did not see any other drops or splotches indicating a trail leading towards 1122 King Road. Why the frick would it be leading? Well, I guess it would be because it would actually be somebody leaving 1122 King Road. Okay, yeah. He's fine. He's fine. There was no answer at apartment blank. Based on those observations, I determined the drops and splotches to be uninvolved and unrelated. But do you know that? Because y'all kind of thought that like it was just some rusty stuff on Jack Showalter's door, and apparently it didn't actually pop. Yes, for blood, but then they ended up going in the house and there was stuff in the bathroom, like in the living room, like up on the freaking ceiling and shit. Why is everything so drippy in this area? I spoke with the tenants in apartment blank who stated they had went to bed around 1 and music was present at 1122 King Road during that time, which they stated was pretty much every weekend. Both tenants said they woke up at around 9:30 and there were no strange or alarming sounds. Due to having no information aside from standard weekend behavior from 1122 King Road, I did not identify the two contacts. I spoke with the tenants in apartment blank, identified as JG. What are these numbers? Something /2000 and then IB something /03. What are these numbers? The two stated they were at a birthday party on Blake Street, approximately 1.5 blocks away, and got to bed in the early morning hours, estimated to be approximately 4 o'clock in the morning. Okay. I asked which way they walked back from the party, and B described them as walking back west on Taylor Avenue, then cutting up a stair path just west of blank Taylor Avenue. The stairs travel from the parking lot of blank Taylor Avenue up to Queen Road, facing straight at the gravel parking lot of 1122 King Road. Both B and G stated they did not see anyone outside or past anyone as they were walking. I asked if there was still a party or music going on at 1122 King Road when they walked by, and they stated there was. So at 4 o'clock in the morning, whenever they're walking by, they're hearing music like a party is still happening inside. And remember, Dylan even said it sounded like music and she heard singing. Okay. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary, and they did not hear anything that alarmed them in any way. At 4 o'clock in the morning, you didn't hear anything? Amazing. I spoke with the female tenant of apartment blank who stated she works a red eye, and she got home at 6:30 and had left for work at 21:45 hours on 11/12/22. She stated that there was activity, people coming and going from 1122 King Road at that time, but there was no one walking around at 6:30 when she returned home. After conducting the canvass through my assigned area, I cleared the scene. At no time during my involvement in the area did I cross into the designated crime scene. Several days later, I passed on my notes to the ISP investigation team assigned with a more thorough canvass of the area, highlighting the address. Ooh, I'm already yawning. What is happening? Okay. Highlighting the address and names of B and G, who stated they were on foot in the area near the approximate time of the incident, which seemed to be the only substantial contact from my canvass. I mean, you probably should have done a supplemental report on the people that walked right by King Road at 4 o'clock in the morning and heard music. That probably should have been written right away, Mr. House. Jeebus. Okay. Okay. Brett Payne. More information on this. This is one portion of this I will not be clipping because I don't care about none of these phone survey things. The survey was needed and normal, obviously expensive, but not out of the norm. On Friday, March 8th, 2024, I received an email from prosecuting attorney Bill Thompson advising of a telephone survey received by NB. N provided a typed summary of the phone survey, which stated the following. I will not read this entire damn thing again. Why is it in here more than once? Okay, this has more info past this portion right here about how the number belonged to somebody that died back in 2011. Oh, I clicked on research strategies on accident. Some of our clients. John Deere, Choctaw Indians, Domino's Pizza, State of Louisiana, Baskin Robbins. Really? Bass Pro. Bell South exists still? Clear Channel I've heard of. What the frick frack is Chuk Chauncey? Coca-Cola? Ford? Dang, y'all carry some big names. In research anyway. Okay. Okay, so we'll read from right here. I spoke to Miss M on Monday, 3/11, and she stated she received the call at approximately 4:51 p.m. the day prior. The first question she was asked was if she was a Latah County resident. I think we read this one already. Company's name and number, addition, which is Susie calling and questions. I feel like we read this part already, but then it seems longer. I'm just going to read it because I don't want to miss anything. I know for a damn fact everything up here is the same. Okay, we're just going to read it. I spoke to Miss M on Monday, 3/11, and she stated she received the call at approximately 4:51 p.m. the day prior. The first question she was asked was if she was a Latah County resident. There were several questions that followed, which asked generic questions about trials in the criminal justice system. Then she stated the woman asked her specifically if she was aware of the Kohberger trial. Miss M stated she refused to answer, asked the woman who she worked for, research strategies with the number provided, who was paying for the survey, and asked for her supervisor. The woman gave her the company's number and stated she was unaware of who was responsible for the survey. Miss M also stated the number the woman called from was blank. This number is not in the TLO and is likely a Google Voice type number not associated with a person. Miss M stated she posted to her Facebook page asking if anyone else had received similar calls. She stated several people in the Potlatch area had received calls from the same number that called her, but most were not answered. I asked her to keep me posted if she became aware of any further information. I later learned, this is where it gets to be new info. I later learned 6 people on her Facebook post from Potlatch area had received a call from the same number. Additionally, Miss M stated the call made her very uncomfortable and she did not think it was right for people to be calling and asking such questions. You'd be surprised how normal it is. I later learned of 2 additional people in the Moscow Police Department and Latah County Prosecutor's Office who received the call and confirmed the same questions were asked. So they called 2 people that work for the police department and for the prosecutor's office and asked them these questions. I guess they really wouldn't know, right? Because it's like a random. It's like a random. So I guess they wouldn't know that they were police officers or like they worked for the cops. But that's okay. On Thursday, March 14th, 2024, I also received a phone call. The caller ID showed as political call. Who was writing this? Brett Payne? Brett Payne even got a phone call from the research place? Okay. Maybe because he called back. Oh, now I'm curious. Oh my goodness. Okay. I answer the phone call and listen to the questions. I've attached the call to this case in a transcript of the conversation as it follows. Note the recording started approximately 15 seconds after the beginning of the call. Blank. Okay. Caller. And we got the Sriracha, Hispanic, Latino, or Spanish region. Payne? No. Caller. Yeah. Race, please. Payne. And they don't say whether he's white or whatever. Like, why are we blocking his race? Okay. Caller. Okay. Before we get started, I'd like you to know that there are no right or wrong answers. You're always free to respond. I don't know or no opinion. Caller, which would be, okay, the person. Answer to any question, and all of your answers remain confidential. So I'm going to start with 3 statements about the criminal justice system, and then we'll get to the case itself. And for each one of these, please tell me whether you agree, strongly agree, somewhat disagree, or strongly disagree strongly. I cannot believe they called the lead investigator like he wasn't a cop. That's insane. So here's the first one. If the government brings someone to trial, that person is probably guilty. Payne, no opinion. Caller, okay. And the next one is, it is better for societies to let some guilty people go free than to risk convicting an innocent person. Payne, no opinion. Caller, okay. And then the last one is, even the worst criminals should be considered for mercy. Payne, no opinion. Caller, okay. And now I'm going to ask you about an upcoming jury trial in your community. Back in 2022, 4 students attending the University of Idaho in Moscow were stabbed to death in their home. About a month later, Bryan Kohberger was arrested and charged with murder. So, have you seen, or heard anything about this case? Payne. So, I'm about to stop you right there. I actually work for the City of Moscow Police Department, so I can't answer any more of your questions. I would like to know who is requesting you guys conduct this survey. Caller. Okay, well, we're actually never told who hires us to do the survey. Now, I do have a toll-free number if you'd like to call her front office to see if you can get more information about the survey from our supervisors. Payne, I've tried to call them, but I'll take the number down anyways. Caller, oh, okay. Yes, sir. And again, just because you work for the police department doesn't automatically disqualify you from doing this survey if you're still interested in doing it. Yes, it does, because he can't be on the jury. It's redundant. What do you mean? Payne, no, I'm not. Caller, oh, okay. All right. That doesn't give you the answer. But yeah, our toll-free number is blank, and we're research strategies. And then I can also give you our website if you want. Payne, I already found it, actually, believe it or not. Caller, oh, okay. The researchstrategyinc.com. Payne, yep. Caller, okay. Yes, all right. Well, I'm sorry it didn't work out, but hopefully, like I said, if you call, we're in Central Time, so I believe we're 2 hours ahead of you. But if we call during business hour Central Time, then I hopefully without to give you more information about, but what the case has been used for and so forth. Okay, the grammar in this is disgusting. Payne, okay. Can I ask you how many people you guys have been requested to call, like how widespread this survey is? Caller, that I unfortunately don't know. We're kind of told everything on that need to know basis here in the cubicle. So yeah, I got you. Don't know how. So yeah, I got you. Don't know how many even we're supposed to get as far as like complete surveys and everything. Payne, how many have you called alone? Do you have any idea about the number? Caller, yeah, I don't really have a number, and I can say we've been working on this for 2 weeks now, and we're just like 3.5 hours a night for 2 weeks. So, just not everybody wants to do the survey, of course, but right, I get people who don't live in the county too. That's a whole other thing, right? Payne, certainly, yep. Caller, okay, well, appreciate your time, sir. Payne, yeah, I don't mean to be rude to you or anything. Just wanted to be upfront with I can't answer any questions or anything, and I wouldn't prefer to do that if I could. Caller. So, oh, okay, that's fine. I understand where you're coming from, and you know it. Unfortunately, I wish I could answer some of your questions, but I think I said I'm operating on very limited information as far as that information. Pain. Yeah, totally get it. Yep. Well, I appreciate it, sir. Thanks for giving me what information you could, and I'll reach out to that number, see if I can get some more info. Caller. Okay, great. All right. Well, again, hope you have a good night, and it was nice talking to you. Pain. Hey, you too. Take care. I cannot believe that they're calling officers, but they're also calling the lead investigator. You'd think that there would at least be numbers for like law enforcement and investigators in the area that would be like Latell County residents, that they would have like a do not call these people list because of who they are. How not organized. I attempted to call the number provided and was greeted by a telephone prompt. I was unable to connect with anyone in order to ascertain any further details from the company. It would appear the survey is relatively widespread, asks the same questions, and originates with Research Strategies, Inc. I will add additional reports as they are received. Maybe. Very possible, I guess. Mm-hmm. That's wild. Okay. 263. Brett Payne. This is a voicemail tip on a voicemail. KC and SS tip follow-up. Oh, okay. I think I know what this one is. This one is really stupid to me. Just like the chick, like, I don't know if this is the same Tinder chick. What date was this? Okay, this is 3/18 of 24. So I think that redheaded chick came out like way before that. But this one, I've heard somebody read this one. Okay. This is just as ignorant as like the stripper, right? This person has like no proof whatsoever that he's the person she talked to, from what I'm understanding. And look, even at the bottom, it says like this conversation wasn't even like reported. So this just tells me that it wasn't important enough that this person couldn't even prove what they were trying to say. And people are taking this just like they're taking the stripper thing, and they're taking it as gospel, and they're running with it like it's a fact. And I'm like, where's the proof? What happened to people wanting receipts? And because a lot of the people that are running with this bullshit are people that constantly demand proof, constantly demand receipts. I can think of like 4 channels right now. And I can see their stupid thumbnails and their bullshit headlines. And I'm like, if this was Delphi, if this was Jack and Lily, if this was Sebastian Rogers, if this was any other case, y'all be wanting proof and receipts and actual like knowledge, knowing that like this is a legit story. But when it comes to this case, they don't care. They take it, they run with it because they want the clicks. And I don't understand that. That is so pathetically misleading. In a complete 180 from how they literally act with every other case they talk about. I just don't understand that. But okay. On Wednesday, March 13th, 2024, I received an email from Captain Blaker, who still receives voicemail tips reference to this case. Captain Blaker sent me 2 tips for additional follow-up. The first tip was called in by KC. C stated she thought she had matched with Kohberger in September or October of 2022 on Tinder. So were these voicemails that were left in 2024, or were these voicemails that were left in 2022 and now they're just now getting to them? I guess I need some clarification on that. I called C and asked her to elaborate in her voicemail. C stated she signed up for Tinder in September or October of 2022, but she was unable to match with anyone in her area. C stated she paid for the additional Tinder feature. If you are paying for a dating app, stay single. It's not your time, babe. It's not your time. Oh my God. Okay. She stated she paid for the additional Tinder feature, which allowed her to move a pin anywhere in the, I can't. I'm sorry. And I'm sorry if there are some of you in here that will pay the extra bullshit on these damn apps. But what? I can't even like look at a dating app logo without getting like nauseous. This chick's out here putting money on it. I'm sorry. It could never. It could never be me to pay for this kind of shit. It just never could. She stated she matched with Kohberger a short time later and began talking to him. C said Kohberger told her he was a criminology student at WSU. The two communicated via Tinder and planned for Kohberger to visit C when she came home for Christmas break that year. So what does that mean? That she doesn't live in Washington, but like her family does live near WSU? Or is this like a Pennsylvania girl? Because Kohberger is going to be in Pennsylvania for Christmas break. So if they're planning for him to visit her, is she in Pennsylvania for Christmas? I don't know. She then told me she had a friend who had been taken in her town a couple of years prior. She said she discussed this with Kohberger. The conversation turned to horror movies and which one C liked the most. C told Kohberger she liked the Rob Zombie Halloween movies. I'm actually really partial to House of a Thousand Corpses myself. Never really liked the Halloween movies. To this, C said Kohberger asked what she thought would be the worst way to die. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and like talk about that kind of stuff with people that I just met. Like the story and the movies, but that's like a deeper conversation and you're not getting that out of me at all. Like at this point, like I've known you for 5 minutes, broski. But this is his like case study. This is what he does. His brain automatically goes to this. So if you know that, then it's not alarming. It's not really a red flag, especially since like she started the murder conversation is how it sounds. Like he's like, oh, I'm in criminology. And she's like, oh, my friend was murdered. And that's how the conversation started. So I guess I can see like why it would have turned into this, but it doesn't feel abnormal for what he is, but I could see how some people would be like, okay, okay. She said she thought it would be a knife. She said Kohberger then asked her something to the effect of like a K-bar. Yeah, this is where you just lost me, chick. Sorry, not sorry. You kind of just lost it there. C said she didn't know what that was and had to Google it. C said she eventually stopped talking to Kohberger because his questions made her uncomfortable. You bring up how your friend was murdered and then you don't like where the conversation ends up going. I don't believe this right here. This is all like through the Tinder app, right? Load it up, baby. You paid for this service. You've got receipts for this service. Load it up. Let me read your conversations. Let me read it. C then said Kohberger was arrested. She recognized his photo and remembered the comment about the K-bar knife. Sure, you did. C said she attempted to call the tip line, but I have been unable to verify whether or not C called the MPD tip line. There is no record of her calling the FBI tip line, so she's full of shit. Because, like, the tip line is the tip line, is the tip line. The number was everywhere. You either called it or you didn't. You either did or didn't. C said she no longer had access to her Tinder profile and could not get her user ID. Convenient. This would be needed to compare the Tinder records located on Kohberger's phone. At this time, there was nothing to corroborate. Actually, no, Payne. You could easily go back in, do another Tinder warrant, unless you already have his messages for his Tinder warrant, and you can see who he's been discussing stuff with. You can see their conversation because the half of it's him. So if you wanted to figure this out, you could have. So it doesn't sound really like you want to. The second tip was in reference to blank driver. To a blank driver. Uber and Lyft are both 4 letters, so this could go either way. This person's initials is SS, who thought he saw Kohberger. I called S and asked him to tell me what he saw. S said he delivers packages to the area of Pullman where Kohberger resided during 2022. S said he recognized Kohberger and had seen him while delivering packages to the area on prior occasions. Okay. S told me on the occasion he referenced in his tip, he noticed a man dressed in all black with boxing or elf shoes standing on a footpath behind blank Fairview Drive. This footpath provided an unobstructed view of apartment blank, where S said the female tenants would be visible through a large window. S said seeing the man who he said looked like Kohberger from what he could see, was unusual given the location. S said he was not positive if the man was Kohberger, but he resembled Kohberger's appearance. S told me he spoke to an FBI investigator early on, but wanted to make sure the information was passed on. I concluded my phone interview with S and thanked him. Neither of the two conversations were recorded because they were useless. Because it was useless. What the frick you mean, elf shoes? I'm sorry, but I don't think a man who wants to wear elf shoes is going to be looking at women through windows, if you get it. Okay, come on now. This is so stupid. Okay, continuing. Danny Vargas. Kohberger jail calls and messages. I hope they release these, bro. I want these so bad. I want to know so bad who's been sending him crazy shit, who might be telling the truth about talking to him, which I highly doubt. Okay, sorry, not sorry. I highly doubt. I want the proof. If we can get Gypsy Rose's damn emails, if they can sit there on lives for hours and hours and talk about that Deadpool dude with like the tattoos all over his face and his damn calls and his emails and messages and all his psychos he's got in love with him over there, we can get these. I want these. Okay. Bryan phone calls to Word doc. Red not complete. Green completed by CM from ISP. Kohberger messages 3/20/24 to 3/21/24. Why are we just doing this for one day? And then Kohberger message report 2/20/24 to 3/20/24. A month? And then just a day? Kohberger calls from ISP 2. 3 calls from 4/17/23 to 4/30/23. And then 4 calls from 5/1 to 6/3. I want those calls. I want to know if anything else was said about anything. Because I'm really kind of wondering if he was trying to solve this damn thing. And that's why he got caught up in all of this. It's the only thing I can really think of. Because what else makes any sense at this point? Okay. Jay Waters? 3/21/24, supplemental report for Jay Waters. Okay. Oh, okay. On 11/12/22 at 18:53 hours, there is a 4RE vehicle video saved under my name and badge number. The video depicts a patrol car transporting 2 Moscow police cadets to the Kibbe Dome. Sometime later, the vehicle returned to the police department. I do not know who was actually driving the vehicle, but it was not me. On 11/13/2022 at 20:51 hours, I responded to 1122 King Road. I was asked to maintain a written scene access log. Blank arrived on scene. Why are we not allowed to see who that is? 2 of the victims were prepared for transport. Captain Lanier advised he wanted a marked patrol unit to escort Blank to the funeral home. Officer Morris arrived on scene and relieved me at the door. I handed Officer Morris the scene access log. I escorted Blank to the funeral home. I stopped the recording on my BWC while driving at approximately 21:30 hours. I reactivated my BWC at 21:37 hours at Blank. I remained at Blank as the 2 victims were offloaded. I deactivated my BWC at approximately 21:45. Why did you turn it off for 7 minutes? And who are the 2 being transported? Because it sounds like they took Maddie and Kaylee together and then Ethan and Xana together. Why are you turning off your body cam for 7 minutes while you're driving to the funeral home? Okay. 266. Brett Payne. Defense counsel items from supplemental discovery request 12. On Tuesday, March 19th, 2024, I received an email from Captain Blaker containing 2 attachments. The first attachment was titled Vehicle List. This document contained all information on MPD's fleet of vehicles to include non-patrol and unmarked vehicles. The second attachment, MPD schedule 11/12 to 11/13/22. This document contained an entire shift schedule for MPD officers from those dates. These two documents were provided in response to defense counsel request. I attached both files to the Spillman case file. Later, on 3/19/22, this says Tuesday, March 19th, 2024. Then it says later on 3/19/22. So he's got his years screwed up. I received an email from Whitcomb Director WB with 4 attachments. The attachments were as follows. MPD calls 11/12 to 11/13. MPD radiolog. I'm thinking radiology. Radiolog. 11/12/22 to 11/13/22. I am pained by conversation. I am pained by thread. So conversations like text message or instant messaging conversations. These documents contain additional information requested by defense counsel. I attached them to the Spillman case file. Brett Payne's attaching his own conversations. Of course, it's reviewed by Blaker. Of course. Okay, 267. Who in the frick frack is B. Sturk? Who is you? Okay, 3/23/24. All these names, man. It just says entry control. Okay. On 11/13/22, at about 17:41 hours, I arrived on scene at 1122 King Road. Okay. At 1122 King Road and stood at the front door performing entry control. During this time, I kept a log book of everyone coming and going from the scene. No unauthorized personnel had entered the scene. I passed off every control to Officer Waters at about 20:46 hours, and I cleared the scene. And you're just writing this in March of 2024? Okay. Okay. Oh, here we go right here. This is the Tinder chick again. Okay, Brett Payne, KC from Tinder. On April 2nd, 2024, Detective Mowry sent a preservation request to Tinder for any records related to KC as reported by C in her tip. Later on April 2nd, 2024, Detective Mowry sent me an email including the response from Tinder, which stated there were no records associated with any of the identifiers C provided. See, this just pisses me off more about the damn person that I listened to, because she damn well didn't pull up this information. She's misleading her audience. And that's just honestly pissing me off even more because, again, this is somebody like I really looked up to that motivated me to start my channel. So just the simple fact that she's out here reading certain things, but not telling everyone all of it and just leaving it like, oh my God, he said all of these things to this girl and it's just legitimate and it's just true and you've got to believe it. Knowing that this document was just a few documents later. That's really disappointing. Like, damn. Okay. At this time, there is no indication records to support these tip exist in the Tinder records. If further information or new identifiers are found, I will request a new search for the Tinder account. Undamn believable. Okay. Here's Brett Payne again. FBI lead 249 RV is the initials. On March 6, 2024, I conducted follow-up on a tip from the FBI database. The tip stated a male, RV, had posted in a hiking group on Facebook that he found a K-bar knife with the sheath while hiking in the Cascade Mountains. Investigation into this area of the country did not yield a link to any known travel path of Kohberger for the timeline in question. In addition, the knife was found with a sheath. So, they haven't even bothered literally looking at any of these. Sheath or no sheath. They have not bothered with any of the ones that have been found. I attempted to get in contact with V using the numbers provided by the FBI tip as well as TLO. None of the numbers were viable and I was unable to contact V. This tip is closed as of this report. Well, maybe you should have followed up beforehand, because the guy probably is like, and they probably found it. So there's no point in me even saying anything. Slow as shit. I don't understand how we got to where we are. This is the crappiest damned police department I think I've ever seen in my life. Brett Payne. EA? Emily? Is this for Emily? I don't know. On Thursday, April 11th, 2024, I contacted EA by phone reference a tip in the FBI system. The tip stated a friend of A may have photos of the victims in this case from the night prior to the homicides. Okay. I spoke to A on the phone. I did not record my conversation, and this is a summary of my interview with A. Okay, this is a dude. So whoever the A guy person is a dude. I asked A to tell me what he remembered from the night before the homicides. A told me he saw the victims at the Whites party that had been previously mentioned in this case. A told me he saw Chapin and Kernodle at approximately 2,000 hours before they went home. Well, that's like, what is that? Like 8? That's 8 o'clock. I asked A if he had taken any photos. A told me he did not, but he remembered EV, a blank sorority member, was there and taking pictures. A told me he thought she might have photos that would show the victims. I asked A if there was anything else he could remember from that night, and he said there was not. I thanked him for his time and concluded my conversation with A. I attempted to call V, but was only able to leave a voicemail. A short time later, V left me a return voicemail stating she was out of the area and would call me back when she was available. I will interview V upon her return, as well as add any photos she may have had in this case. And that's it. Okay. 271. Brett Payne again. Looks like it's another tip. This time it's initials KD. And this is somebody Payne's meeting up with, like, in person. Okay. On Friday, April 12th, 2024, I met with KD at the Moscow Police Department, reference a tip D had called in during this investigation, wherein D said he was with some of the victims the night before the homicides and wished to provide his whereabouts. I recorded my interview with D and burned them to a CD, which I booked to MPD evidence. The following is a summary of my interview with D. I began by asking D to tell me what his background with the victim was. D told me he hung out with Kernodle frequently during his freshman year of college prior to Kernodle dating Chapin. D told me he was in the circle of friends with the other victims and casually saw F in the fall of 2022. Funk. So he casually dated Bethany Funk? Is that what this is trying to say? Probably. Maybe. D later told me he spent the night with Funk on approximately 3 prior occasions. Okay. I asked D if he remembered any of the victims telling him about any strange occurrences. He told me he did not. So he'd been in the house at least 3 times, like overnight. That's what it sounds like. I asked him if he went to any of the parties at 1122 King Road. D told me he did, and that there were roughly 20 people at the parties when he went. I asked D if he and the other party attendees would have noticed someone unwelcome in the party. D told me they would have, and that did not occur at any point when he was there. I asked D to tell me what he remembered about what he did the day prior to the homicides. D told me he went to 1122 King Road the morning of 11/12/22 at approximately 10 o'clock to have a couple of drinks with the residents prior to going to the football game. D said they all went to the Whites for a party prior to going to the football tailgate. That's where the photo was taken. D said they left that party and went to the football tailgate at halftime of the game. He was unsure of what time and stayed out in the parking lot. I asked D what he did after the tailgate. He told me the victims all left and he went back to blank, his fraternity. D said he ate some food and went to sleep for the night. I asked D what he remembered about the next morning. D said a fraternity brother woke him up around noon to check on him since he had stayed at 122 King Road prior and the vandal alert had been issued for homicides there. But see, that's crazy because if you, like, I could have sworn that Bethany had like a boyfriend whenever all of this was going on. Because she's like engaged now. And I could have sworn she was dating someone. Interesting. But to say, I went and checked on this person because he's at 1122 King Road a lot, enough to where you're worried that he might have been in the house, I don't know if that's casual. Like, if that's the reasoning, because of how much you're over there, they're worried you might be in the murder house. I don't know if that's too casual. You know? Dee said, from then on, he and his fraternity brother stayed in the house together until they all left town the next day. I asked him if Funk told him anything about what happened. He said she did not, and he did not ask Funk about it. You just didn't bother? I asked Dee if there was anything else he thought I should know, and he told me there was not. I thanked Dee for his time, provided him my business card, and asked him to call me with any further concerns. You waited to talk to the guy that was sleeping with one of the surviving roommates until April 12th of 2024? Is that what I'm getting at? So a man that could have potentially like been in the house that night, you don't even bother interviewing this fool? Why? Did y'all not find proof that Bethany was doing something with somebody in her phone? Because I'm sure there's going to be like conversations between the two of them. So this would be like whoever Bethany Funk was talking to. Jesus Christ. Doesn't even talk to the surviving roommate's dude guy until April of 2024. What? Do not go to Moscow, Idaho, because if something happens to you, it's not going to be important enough for the feds to walk in. So no one's going to ever solve it. Just don't go there. Don't go there. My God. Okay. Brett Payne. Something with a U tip follow-up. I'm going to assume, but it's probably wrong. I don't know what U means. For you from UI Security. Is this a person's name? On Thursday, April 11th, 2024, I requested assistance from MPD campus officers with locating information on PU, who had called a tip into the FBI tip line stating he worked for UI Security and had found knife packaging, but no knife. Okay. Officer Rosinski requested contact information for you from UI Security. However, their records showed you never worked for UI Security, nor did they have any contact information for him. What is with these people faking affiliations just to get attention? Like, you've got to be like the skeeziest type of human to do this kind of bullshit. Officer Rosinski also advised he looked for you in the TLO but cannot locate any information for him. Due to the lack of contact information or further reports from you, this tip will be closed. Well, you know, maybe, just maybe, if you wouldn't have taken so long to like ask the guy a question. This is April of 2024. Unbelievable. I don't even know what to think anymore. Like, this is just some of the wildest, stupid shit I've ever heard. Okay, Brett Payne again. Brett Payne again. Okay. Initial email discovery. Thumb drives with emails. Okay. On Thursday, April 18th, that's my birthdays, I booked a thumb drive into MPD evidence containing emails from the following personnel in response to a discovery request by defense counsel in this case as of April 2nd, 2024. Alex Jenkins, Aaron Morris, Brett Payne, CM, Anthony Dollinger, Justin Blaker, Eric Warner, KP, James Fry, Joe Siverding, Jacob Tesdall, KSMA, Jonathan Rosinski, Shane Gunderson, and TS. So many names not allowed to be read. There are more emails pending conversion to PDF. These emails will be booked into evidence upon conversion. Okay. 274. Brett Payne again. Oh, we got some more soily stuff. Let me write down this number. This is 274. Okay. Soil pollen provenance. On Thursday, April 18th, 2024, I received an email from IS Geologist FBI. The report details the findings of the exam of the pollen contents of the soil found in the shovel, as well as its comparisons to the samples sent in for comparison. The report states none of the samples are matched with the soil from the shovel. Additionally, the report states the soil from the shovel contained high amounts of pine pollen and single pollen grains from plants that are not naturally distributed in the Moscow, Idaho area. Basswood and red maple were found in the soil recovered from the shovel. However, both are commonly planted ornamental species. Didn't they just say that like parts of the soil showed that it would have like been in that area? And now they're saying that the pollen, well, if the pollen is not from in that area, then probably like neither is the dirt. I mean, Louisiana is the land of the pines. So there's pine trees like all over this country. I'm pretty sure there's pine trees in Moscow. I'm pretty sure there's pine trees in Pennsylvania. They're like literally everywhere. I mean, for all we know, this is him going and like getting a Christmas tree or some shit. I mean, this is nothing. This absolutely proves nothing. How much money did it cost for that geologist to give no answers? We'll have to know. Okay, Brett Payne again. This is number 275. CT. Whoever this be, CT. There is a CD of the interview and then a map that apparently goes along with this. Okay. On Thursday, April 25th, 2024, I received a note from MPD reception to call CT. I don't know what these digits are. I'd love to know what these digits are for, because it's always like that. It's like parentheses, the first block is blocked, and then slash, and then digits in reference to this case. I called T, who agreed to come to MPD to speak to me. I spoke with T in interview room number 1. This is a summary of my conversation with T and not a verbatim transcription. I asked T what made her, so it's a chick, what made her decide to speak to me on this date. T told me her good friends had convinced her to come talk to MPD to make sure what she knew was at least conveyed to law enforcement. I asked T to tell me what she knew. T told me she and her husband went to the Costco in Clarkston, Washington on 11/13/22 to pick up new glasses for T. She told me they left Costco at around 14 to 14:30. So that's like 2 to 2:30 that afternoon and drove north across Red Wolf Bridge. They told me when they turned eastbound on the highway from the bridge, she saw a man walking in the grassy area between the river and the highway. Let me pull up a map. I want to see where this is. We do know that he went to Costco, that he apparently tried to go into the Costco before he went into the Albertsons, but according to the documents, it's like he was turned away at the door. So I don't know if he just like didn't know Costco was like membership only, or if maybe he does have a membership, but it's like maybe expired. They didn't make that very clear. It's also interesting to me too that whenever Stacy Chapin starts calling people around at the school, that the Dean Eccles guy or whatever, I think it's Dean Eccles, it's one of them. They're at the Costco. Okay, now what is this thing called? Red what now? Red Wolf Bridge. Well, apparently Texas alone has crap tons of Red Wolf bridges. Oh, look, somebody else, Snake River. Somebody else already must be looking it up everywhere. Red Wolf, wow, I can't even talk. Red Wolf Crossing Bridge. And this is Wallaway Road right here. Here's Costco. Well, I just had it. Yeah. So here's Costco right here. And this right here is the Albertsons that he went into. Because Kate's coffee is like over here somewhere, I think. See, I know people were like tripping about this part at first, about him being at this Albertsons, because Funk's Auto Renovation is right here. Funke. There was a lot of people talking about that at first. I'm not really quite sure where Kate's is on this one. I thought it was on this side. Okay, so she's claiming that she saw the person walking over here somewhere in a grassy area. Let's see what else it says. T told me when they turned eastbound on the highway from the bridge, she saw a man walking in the grassy area between the river and the highway. So like eastbound from the bridge? So like this way. Grassy area. These are some bushes, baby. Here's some grassy area on this side. But like, this is like the grassy area. It's like a strip of nothing. And then over here, it's like a strip of nothing. But I guess they could mean like just like the actual dirt, because this is not grass. When the frick was this? This is 2025 imagery. It doesn't say the date, but this ain't grass. But this is where she's talking about. Somebody walking like in between the highway and the water. Okay. On 11/13 at 2:30. I need to go back and check the timing. I think it was like 1:04. They have him leaving the Albertsons. And I know that like between like 5 and 8:30, he goes back into like no service again, like not on the network whatsoever, as he's like in that same-ish area. And I'm pretty sure it's like 1:04. He leaves. That's only like an hour and a half from this, though. Okay. T stated she thought this was strange, as there was nothing for anyone to be doing there. She stated the man was walking eastbound and noticed her staring at him. She said the man looked up at her and then appeared to look down and avoid her gaze. I asked T what the man looked like. T told me she had seen much of the news coverage regarding Kohberger, and that was what came to her mind, but that she was not certain he was the person that she saw. I asked her if the man she saw would match Kohberger's appearance, and she said it would. I asked T what the man was wearing. She told me she thought it was strange, as the man was wearing nice clothes. I asked if business casual was a fair classification, and she said it was. He was in a button-up white shirt that morning. Okay. T stated she did not see a car the man was walking to and thought that was strange. T said they drove away and that was all she knew. T had drawn a map of the location. I booked the drawing into MPD evidence. I'm going to go look in a second, see where the churches are, because this was a Sunday. I bet you this might have been somebody just walking to church or walking maybe home from church. On Tuesday, April 30th, 2024, I drove the area T described with Captain Blaker. Was it Corporal Blaker? Captain Blaker? Whatever, with Blaker. The area blank described is where she saw the man is not visible from the highway once you turn east off the bridge. Anyone walking in the area would have to be very near the guardrail, as the hill is relatively steep and drops away from the highway almost immediately. So this is oh, you can actually kind of tell now that he said that. You can actually tell this is a slant. So if the person would have been like, if they turned eastbound this way, the person would have had to have been like literally right up on the street in order to be seen, because once you're up here driving, you can't see any of this because of how steep the angle is. Okay. I called T back Thursday, May 2nd, 2024, and asked her to clarify. T told me the man was on the hill roughly in the middle. T called me back a short time later and told me the man may have been further east along the hillside. I will continue to validate whether or not T's recollection of events is plausible. Further along the hillside. Well, this just gets nearer. Like, the amount of space you've got to walk is just less and less. Yeah. I mean, it was interesting for a minute until everything you said became impossible. Like, this is crazy right here. It shows there's like a road that goes off, but then it's like not labeled and it just disappears. Wow. Okay. So nothing. She was mistaken or in the wrong location or something, because you can't see anyone. You can't see anyone walking right there. Okay. 276. Brett Payne. Lab report thumb drive. Okay. On Thursday, May 2nd, 2024, I received a thumb drive from evidence custodian TS EC. S had downloaded lab reports from a secure link in response to a request from the prosecuting attorney's office. I reviewed the folders on the thumb drive and found they contained lab reports, referenced the S&P profile, as well as the trace evidence analysis for this case. I booked the thumb drive to MPD evidence. I love how they've been trying to tell us forever, we don't have it. The one that we use to match everything in the systems, and we don't have it. Seems y'all got it like several different locations, actually. Brett Payne's second email dump. Okay. Blu-ray containing emails. On Tuesday, March 7th, 2024, I burned the following emails totaling 2,991 to a disk. Martin, Barrett, Smith, Dollinger, Hathaway, Vargas, Fox, Fry, and Mowry. These emails were saved by each officer and then converted to PST files, PDFs, in a secure file. I copied these emails from that file and burned them to this disk. Not really seeing much of anything. That's awesome. Okay, so CT audio issue. More issues. More issues. Don't you just love tech? Don't you love it? On Wednesday, May 8th, 2024, I was notified by the Latell County Prosecutor's Office that the audio portion of my interview with CT did not appear to be working as it was provided to them. Evidence custodian S also stated he could not get the audio stream to work on the recording. I logged into ExactVision, the program used to record interviews at MPD, to ascertain why the audio stream did not get downloaded. After attempting to re-download the interview, I learned the audio recording for the interview room did not work. Then why is it an interview room? I reviewed the footage and could see where I flipped the audio switch on prior to the interview. In addition, I ensured both audio and video streams were downloaded for the duration of the interview. However, it appears the microphone recording system did not function and did not record any audio for this interview. How long had it been broken? How long had it been broken? And you fools didn't even know. Jesus Christ. It's a good thing nobody went in there to confess to anything, because damn. Okay, Brett Payne. Again, a lot of these are Brett Payne. Holy crap, so many of these are Brett Payne. Officer Nunez's emails. Just his. On Friday, May 17th, 2024, I downloaded the final batch of emails from current MPD employees. The emails had been converted and stored on a secure drive where I downloaded them from. Officer Nunez was the only person who had emails in this batch. Okay, now we're at 280. Lawrence Mowry. CastViz working files. Okay. Previously, the Latell County Prosecutor's Office requested any CastViz session logs pertaining to the phone number blank. I did not locate nor remember creating any session logs pertaining to the screenshots I created previously using CastViz as described in my previous report. I'm sorry. I did not locate nor remember creating any session logs pertaining to the screenshots I created. So you created screenshots and described them in your previous report, but now you can't find them? Is that what that says? After preparing for the motion to comply hearing set for May 23rd, 2024, I found the following files. They appear to be 2 zip files containing what appear to be CastViz session folders, Kohberger 48-hour records, 48-hour records, and then Kohberger full records. Okay, but what does it mean? What's on it? I also located the following files with the session data files: lock DBOR near crime scene. What in the frick frack does that mean? Working CDRs and then export 1. I located emails from FBI Special Agent Nick Balance providing me with the files above. In trying to open these session files in CastViz to verify them, I received an error message. They can't do shit. These people can't do shit. In reviewing the metadata, it showed the version of CastViz used to create them was 28.00. In speaking with the FBI agent Sean Kennedy, who teaches CastViz training, he informed me I would not be able to open a previous version session file in a newer version of the software. So they were going to have to get an upgrade. In examining the drawings.json file, I found references to 1122 King Road in blank, Pullman, Washington. Out of the abundance of caution, I placed these files into a folder named CastViz. So you put them in there even though you don't know what the frick they are because you can't open them. I then located the folder in which the data I used for CastViz session, where I saved screenshots for exhibits. No session files were located. The screenshots created had a date of 4/19/23. No session files located, but you found screenshots with the date of 4/19/23. Out of an abundance of caution, I placed these files into a folder named Mallory. These files were then placed into a DVD and put into evidence. I contacted the Latah County prosecutor and informed them of the records. You don't even know what the frick's on them. You can't even open them. You just see references to things, and then you can't actually see anything. They're not located. Y'all had nothing. Nothing. Holy shit. Okay, Brett Payne. Counseling clarification with D. Whoever this is. Is this Jack Decor? On Tuesday, May 28th, 2024, I contacted JD via telephone to clarify whether or not he ever sought counseling help through the University of Idaho. Why is that your business? Why is that your business? D told me the only support he ever sought was academic help due to his difficulties with academic testing. D told me he did not seek any mental health or emotional counseling prior to the homicides. He only sought help via private counseling services after the homicides occurred. Why are they asking Jack Jacor if he got counseling a year and a half after the event? Why is Brett Payne calling and asking that question? Like, y'all didn't consider him a victim. He couldn't get up and talk about how the woman that he'd been with since, like, I don't even know what grade, 8th grade or some shit like that. The woman that he'd been with for years and years and years that he still loved even though they weren't together. Y'all didn't even consider him a victim in this. So why are you caring if he got counseling? I mean, that's cool that you're checking up on him and all, but I'm a little confused by that. Like, odd. It's odd, just like random in the, the end of May. Let me just call this guy and ask him a random ass question. Okay. Brett Payne again. Former MPD employee emails. On Tuesday, May 28th, 2024, I was notified by City of Moscow IT manager CC that the last batch of MPD emails had been converted to PDFs. These emails were from employees who worked for MPD at the time of the homicides, but left MPD in the subsequent months. I downloaded the emails from the City of Moscow's email archiver by searching all emails sent by the following personnel starting on 11/13/2022. Casey Green, Elijah Flaherty, John Lawrence, Josh Kimberlin, Justin Dean, and Roger Lanier. I copied these files onto a CD and booked the CD into MP evidence. Okay. Number 283. Brett Payne again. Okay. Weather data. They better have the truth in here. about all the stuff that was happening in the damn skies, okay? Because it's all over the websites. Like, it's all over the internet. Again, I can't ever remember, like, the name of the damn meteor shower thing, but people had been watching this for years. It's something that's in rotation. And that night, the 12th going into the 13th, people are like, oh, it was cloudy. It was da-da-da-da-da. Well, not enough, because there's people in that area that have photos, that have videos, and it's all dated that date. Like, it's on these actual, like, forums, boards, not just like, you can't just like Google it randomly and just get a bunch of shit. You have to know where to look. I found them. Lots of people found them. On July 2nd, 2024, I accessed the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration's website for historical weather data titled National Centers for Environmental Information. Within this website, I accessed the local climatology data tool and selected the state of Washington to search for weather stations. I located the Pullman-Moscow Regional Airport weather station in the search results and requested data for the dates of 11/12 through 11/13. Within this tower data, I selected the following information: daily output, hourly precipitation output, hourly remark output, and documentation. I completed the above mentioned date range and requested the data be sent to my department email. Later that same day, I received an email saying the data was prepared for download. I downloaded the file onto my department laptop and attached it to the case file electronically. The PDF document provided was 19 pages in length. Upon review of the document and the provided information key at the bottom, I was able to determine what portions of the report were reporting on the requested dates. He waited until July 2nd to do this. He waited until July 2nd to even do this. The most pertinent information was located on pages 2 and 3. These pages were a report on local climatological data hourly observations. The hours from 1433 hours on 11/12/22 until 0653 hours on 11/13/22 show the observation of OVC08 under sky conditions. Each entry also has a single number after OVC08. On page 10 of the document is a section detailing what these values mean. The following is from the document. Sky conditions. A report of each cloud layer up to 3, giving the following information. Each layer given in the following format. Okay. CCC, LL-XXX, where, and 1. Okay. CCC is coverage. CLR, clear sky. FEW, few clouds. SCT, scattered clouds. BKN, broken clouds. OVC, overcast. VV, obscured sky. 10, partially obscured sky. 2. 11 is layer amount used in conjunction with coverage code above, given in eighths, aka octas, of sky covered by cloud. Specifically, 00-08 indicates the number of octas that cloud layer takes up in the total sky. 00 corresponds to CLR, that's clear. 01-02 corresponds to few, which is few clouds. 03-04 corresponds with SCT, which is scattered clouds. 07-05 corresponds to BKN, which is broken. 08 corresponds to OVC, which is overcast. 09 indicates an obstruction, i.e. the sky cannot be seen due to obscuring phenomenon like smoke, fog, etc. 10 indicates a portion of the sky is, 10 indicates a portion of the sky is obscured by partial obscuration. For additional information, see integrated service data documentation. Okay, so it said what for this one? OVC08. So overcast, which we've heard that before, but that's overcast at the airport, not overcast at the park. And again, this shit's everywhere. People have seen these. There's videos, there's photos, there's people like in chat boards talking about it. And it goes on for like weeks, like this meteor thing or whatever. It goes on for weeks, but people were posting about it that night, like 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. One, I think, was even at like 6 a.m. and they were still able to see stuff. So, overcast at the airport's one thing, but that doesn't mean everywhere. I mean, if you live in Texas, you know how stupid the weather is. Okay, Brett Payne. IT assistance with workstation. Okay. On June 26, 2024, I requested assistance from City of Moscow IT Manager CC with determining what logins may have been created for use on MPD computers by other agency personnel, meaning FBI or ISP. C told me the following names were created during the time frame of 11/13 to 12/30 of 22, and it's all freaking, we can't see nothing. C also told me numerous MPD computers have been rotated out since that time frame, and the drives on those computers have been wiped clean. Oh my God. I requested C access those username accounts and make sure there was nothing case related on them. Wow. I mean, I get it's in 2024. But wow. Like, y'all couldn't even like held on to that shit until we got like to where we are now. How long had they been out of rotation and wiped? Who knows what was like not actually found before it was wiped? Something important? Unbelievable. I spoke to C on 7/2/24 and he told me he had checked those usernames and there was nothing related to this case pertaining to any of those accounts. You don't really know that though, do you? Because it's been wiped. So how do you know? I will request all MPD personnel access the workstations they remember using during that time to further verify there was nothing of evidentiary value found. You expect them to know from 2 years ago? What? Unbelievable. So they're sitting here saying that Bryan Kohberger wiped all his damn devices when in reality, they're finding all kinds of shit on his devices. Like they're talking about his searches and they're talking about screenshots and they're talking about his dating apps and da-da-da-da. That's not a wiped device. That's just you didn't find what you were looking for, so you try to make an excuse device. That's what that is. They're wiping their devices. Like what? Okay, Brett Payne. This is another tip. H. Tip attempt with contact. Okay. On 6/20/24, I received an email containing a voice tip referencing this case. I listened to the attached file. The woman stated her name was HH with a phone number of blank. H stated she had information that would clear Kohberger of the homicides. She did not state what this information was and requested a phone call. So this person called in all the way in June. July 1st, 2024, I attempted to call H to interview her about her statements. H did not answer, but there was the option to leave a voicemail through the message, though the message did not state who the number belonged to. I left a voicemail with my work cell phone number and identified who I was. I requested H call me back. At the time of this report, I have not received a phone call from H. I will author an additional report if I'm able to contact H. A woman with HH. Wonder who you are. Okay. 286. Brett Payne again. Okay. Is this about Dylan? I think this is about Dylan. I saw somebody talking about this on Twitter, and I remember whenever I was looking at what they had on the screen, I remember them talking about a green and pink jacket, like in the first dump, maybe of documents. Maybe it was the second video. I know that it had something to do with whenever they were returning objects, like back to Dylan, and they were talking about stuff that was at the city shop. I'd have to go back in and get the document number. On Wednesday, July 10th, 2024. Hold on, I can make this bigger. Sergeant Gilbertson and I met via Zoom with Mortensen, her blank and their blank RM referenced the green and pink jacket that was tested by defense counsel in this case. Why did they? The interview was not recorded. What? So every time y'all talk to anybody that might have something important to say, y'all just don't even press record? Y'all don't file reports. You don't press record. Okay. It should be noted the jacket was initially not collected as evidence and was turned over to the Mortensen family as personal property. The box the garment was in was later returned to MPD upon defense counsel request. Okay, yeah, I was right. This is the city shop information where they ended up returning to her like a very specific set of things, and it made it sound like it was by request. Because I remember saying something like, why is she only requesting these certain things? Like, so we had a document like right before that where Bethany wanted like her passport and a couple other things. And then the one for Dylan also wanted her passport, some Nike Jordans, a small black purse, this green and pink jacket, and like 2 other things. I remember that specifically. Okay. And then the stuff had to be sent back because the defense counsel wanted it, and the table that they took wasn't going to fit. So the guy had to like break the table in half to make it fit in order for it to be given back to the defense. Okay. I asked Mortensen if she had seen the jacket in question. Mortensen told me the jacket did not look familiar at all, and her mother stated the same thing. What? You specifically asked for this jacket. This was specifically given to her, like when she requested her passport. I'm going to have to go back to the document, but I could have sworn this was given to her, like in that group of things. Mortensen told us it was not uncommon for other sorority members to come to the house and leave clothes to use later, but she said she did not remember seeing the jacket. Mortensen did not have any further information on the jacket, so we ended our interview. So they're even saying right here that they had it, but they gave it to her way long time ago. And then the defense requested a bunch of stuff be brought back. So that means that Mortensen would have had this in her possession after the fact. I'm going to have to go back and get the damn document. Because why are you acting like you don't know what they're talking about? Okay. Brett Payne. Poll camera hard drives received from FBI. What poll cameras? Item number 907, 908, and 909. On Tuesday, July 16th, 2024, Special Agent Heel delivered 3 internal hard drives to Moscow PD. These drives were prepared by the FBI IT and turned over to S.A. Hill for delivery. The drives were delivered to MPD and secured on secure temporary evidence storage until they were turned over to me by Evidence Technician S on July 25th, 2024. The 3 drives were labeled with the following information. Poll camera footage DTD from December 23rd, 2022 to January 2nd, 2023 front entrance of what? Lansden intersection. Is that Pennsylvania? That's Pennsylvania, isn't it? And then again, same dates, Reed entrance. So maybe there's 2 entrances into someplace. I mean, apparently. That's interesting. I booked these drives into MPD evidence on July 25th, 2024 at the following numbers. Okay. 288. Brett Payne. Supplemental 73 correction. Okay, this is the one I was waiting for because a bunch of people said that the 94 samples from Showalter was incorrect, that it was actually 4. And that made a lot more sense, honestly, because the document itself had like 4 samples written up at the top. But I was waiting on the document. Now we have it. And this is number 287. Okay. Okay, yeah, that's Brett Payne. July 25th, 2024, I was asked by the prosecution in this case to review my supplemental number 73 to clarify where the 94 samples were in relation to the supplement, as I only listed 4 samples as being booked into evidence. I reviewed my supplemental and readily recognized there was a typing error. The sentence reads, in addition, there were more blood spatter spots on the wall on the entryway into the living room. Samples of each were collected, 94 in total, and ISP Detective Talbot took photos of the residence. The error occurred when I typed 94 in total. This was supposed to read 4 in total. I failed to hold the shift key to select the parentheses on the 9, which would have resulted in a 9 being typed instead of the parentheses. Okay, yeah. That's true. The sentence was meant to read as follows. In addition, there was more blood spatter spots on the wall, on the entryway into the living room. Samples of each were collected, 4 in total, and ISP Talbot took photos of the residents. That sounds more normal. That sounds about right. Okay, Brett Payne again. Damn, he's like in here a lot for somebody who doesn't work for Moscow anymore. SG tip follow-up. S is too long to be Steve. This is probably too short to be Goncalves, so I don't know who this is. On June 29th, 2024, I attempted to contact a SG at blank, reference a tip G had emailed to the tip line. G claims to have information about Kohberger and a man named NT. G claimed to have tangible proof Kohberger was framed. Who's NT? G did not answer when I called her on 6/29/24, so I left her a voicemail. I did not receive a return phone call from G. I attempted to call G again on 7/30/24. Upon calling, someone answered the phone, did not say anything, and then hung up quickly before I could speak. At the time of this writing, I am unable to contact G. I will investigate further if I am able to get in contact with her. Interesting. How many people are going to call in or email things and then just like flake the F out, right? Whenever it matters. Crazy. Okay, 290. Brett Payne again. Okay. TJ tip follow-up. On Tuesday, July 30th, 2024, I contacted TJ from Clarkston, Washington. Jay emailed a tip to Chief Dollinger saying she had information about seeing Kohberger the morning after the homicides. Why are you just now saying something? I called Jay and asked her to tell me what she knew. I did not record our conversation. Of course you didn't. Of course. Jay stated she was in Clarkston on 11/13/22 at approximately 10 a.m. and went to the Albertsons there to pick up coffee and donuts. Their donuts are actually pretty damn good, to be for real. Jay said she had seen the U of I alert on Facebook as she was standing in line and called her boyfriend to tell him about it. At 10 o'clock in the morning, ma'am, no, you didn't. Not the U of I alert on Facebook, you didn't. Jay said it was at this point she noticed the man in front of her who she thought could have been Kohberger. Wrong timing for all of it because he didn't go to Albertsons until 1 o'clock. Jay said the man was wearing khaki pants, brown shoes, a salmon-colored button-up shirt, and surgical COVID-type mask and purple surgical gloves. So this is the purple surgical gloves that same creator that's really getting on my damn nerves now is trying to talk about like it was something. This person's timeline is completely inaccurate. You would not have seen the U of I alert on Facebook 2 hours before the 911 call. That's not how it works. Jay said she didn't think anything of it at the time, but thought she could let law enforcement know after seeing the photos of Kohberger. Jay did not have further information regarding the incident and thanked her for the information and ended our conversation. So you're telling me that he put all them buttons up on that white shirt and then changed it to a salmon-colored shirt? And yes, I say it with the L. I don't really care. That's how I say it in Texas, and that's just how I'm going to say it. Okay. Purple surgical gloves and a COVID-type mask. Now, we do know that he was wearing a mask at the Albertsons, and I'm pretty sure they even said he was wearing gloves. But this was also still like the end of the pandemic, broskies. Like there were still people being forced to take the jab at this point. So that doesn't really tell me a lot, especially for all like the cleaning and OCD stuff that we've heard about with him. So she could have the time wrong, or she could have actually been there, you know. I mean, she could have the time wrong and she could have actually seen him, but there ain't no way that you saw anything on Facebook at 10 o'clock in the morning from the university. We know that as a fact. Not from the university, you didn't. Maybe somebody else. Because, you know, who knows anymore, but not from the university, you didn't. Okay. Brett Payne again. MPD workstation check follow-up. Oh, from all of the stuff that y'all got rid of? Is that what this is for? On July 2nd, 2024, I sent an email to the All Police group via MPD email. This group encompasses all current employees of the Moscow Police Department. In the email, I requested all personnel log into any workstation they may have used during the investigation and check for anything on the computer that may be of evidentiary value in order to ensure there was no outstanding items. I requested a response before the end of the following week if anything was found. Okay, but if a whole bunch of stuff's already been like deleted out, what are you expecting them to find? Because like the servers, usually it's like multiple devices in one server. I know that's how it is for like my medical job, all of our remote in shit. Like we have off base server systems that are ginormous, just like rooms of servers and servers and servers. But it's mostly like a network. So if you're cleaning out one server, a lot of times for a business, it cleans out like a lot of shit. Like we have like 5 different systems. So there's been several times actually, like several times over the past 8 years that I've worked with this company that 75 to 80% of our systems will be out. It'll be IT issues. But there's like a handful of people, and I'm in this like group of people that still have access and are not kicked out. They can actually still log in. We can actually still work. And then sometimes this small group of people get kicked out and we can't do shit. And then the rest of the 85% of people, they have access to everything and they can still work. So it really just all depends on like whose stuff is connected to what. So they probably needed to do like a more of like internal IT thing to find out this kind of stuff, not just try to get people to remember which computer they used 2 years ago and like log in and check it. That's not how that would work for me, but okay. Now we have another one from Brett Payne, POI documents, person of interest documents. No, public information officer. Damn. On Wednesday, July 30th, 2024, I was provided a thumb drive by Chief Dowlinger. The thumb drive contained all public information, officer PIO information. Oh, I said person of interest. That's POI. Okay. Information for this case to include press releases. I booked the thumb drive into MPD evidence on 7/31/24. You know that if you go to the Facebook page for Moscow Police Department and like hella scroll, you'll see all the like original press releases still. Or at least you could a couple months ago. I don't know if you still can. I know I'm clicking this damn folder. Okay. 293. Danny Vargas for more jail calls and messages and mail. Oh, I can't wait. Okay, we even have ISP calling him. Interesting. Okay. On August 7th, 2024, I booked in a DVD which contained the following files pertaining to jail phone calls, mail, and messages. Copies of all outgoing and incoming mail from 2/9/24 to 8/7/24. Kohberger messages 326 to 626, 626 to 82, and then 82 to 86 random date ranges. Kohberger call folder from CM at ISP. 3 calls, 6 calls, 7 calls, 8 calls, and then jail calls 1, jail calls 2, jail calls 4, and jail calls 5. So why are the top 4 not also listed as jail calls? Because he's totally in jail. So what's that about? Kohberger calls April 2024 to May 2024. Word doc. Kohberger calls April 24 to May 2024. This document lists all of the calls made between April 2024 and May 2024. The calls in red are not complete. The calls in orange were transcribed using software TurboScribe. The calls in black were transcribed by me, Danny Vargas. Okay. All of the other documents in this folder are the Word documents created by software TurboScribe, which coincide with the calls listed in orange detailed in the above listed Word doc. Kohberger calls ISP folder from CM ISP. This one has 3, this one has 4, this one has 5. Kohberger calls June 2024 to August 2024. Word doc, Kohberger calls, this is the same thing. Document list, all the calls made between June 2024 to August 2024. The calls in red are not complete. The calls in orange were transcribed using software TurboScribe. All the other documents in this folder are the Word documents created by software TurboScribe, which coincide with the calls listed in orange detailed in the above listed Word doc. Bryan phone calls to Word doc. This document has already been booked in and is a duplicate. Bryan phone calls 3. It's funny how they go from Kohberger to Bryan. Bryan phone calls 3. This document contains the calls from the second document listed above and calls starting March 21st, 2024. The red is not complete. The green is completed by CM with ISP and the orange were transcribed. Kohberger calls transcribed. This doc contains transcription for the following visits. I was trying out different transcribing softwares. This was created using Microsoft 360 transcribe program. Video visit 7/27/23, 1600 hours for 29 minutes and 26 seconds. Video visit 7/27/23, 16:32:20. Did he have 2 video visits at the same time? No. Okay, so he hung up and then got like right back on the phone, maybe? Because he would have gotten off the phone at like 16:29:26, and then by 16:32 he's making another call. They did say that he talked to his mom a lot, like a lot. That shit's so expensive. That is so expensive. Not this last time, because obviously we don't like deal with my ex at all anymore, but like years ago, whenever he was in jail and I was like making sure Dawn could still speak to him, you know, that video visit stuff is expensive and really crappy quality. It was so expensive. I mean, it's probably changed. It's been some years, but damn, it was expensive. Okay. 294. Supplemental discovery request for IM messages. This is from Brett Payne. On Wednesday, August 7th, 2024, I requested the following information from Whitcomb reference a supplemental discovery request from defense counsel in this case. Communication reports for all instant messages of Corporal Payne with dispatch and all other users for 11/28/22. Interesting. 12/16 and 12/20 of 22. Communication reports for all instant messages of Moscow police with dispatch and all other users for 11/13 of 22. That one makes sense to me. Later on 8/7/24, I received the requested documents from Whitcomb and attached them to the Spillman case file. It should be noted there were no IMs matching the request from 11/28/22. The files are as follows. It's all for Payne. My IM conversations from 12/20/22 in thread format. My IM conversations from 12/20/22 in conversation format. And then 12/16, same thing. And then MPD IM conversations. And then it's also a thread. Okay. Okay. Just Payne's conversations? Is that why you don't work there anymore, Baldy? Is that why? Did you say something stupid? Lawrence Mowry, devices to evidence. On July 22nd, 2024, I transferred 4 items previously secured in the Moscow Police Department Digital Forensic Lab to the MPD evidence room. I received these items from the FBI and they were placed in a secure storage area upon receipt. No further analysis or extractions were completed on the devices as the extractions were previously completed by the FBI because y'all didn't do nothing. Feds did it all. And that data has been placed onto hard drives and provided separately. These 4 items were listed as follows. Samsung phone belonging to Bryan Kohberger, Samsung hard drive belonging to Bryan Kohberger, Samsung and Seagate hard drives belonging to Kohberger, and Acer laptop belonging to Kohberger. Okay. Okay. Contact with Kitsap County? in reference to a tip given to the FBI. Holy shit. This one's wild. And I can just like barely see the couple like top sentences. On December 8th, 2022, I was asked to follow up on a tip submitted to the FBI from an unknown person in Kitsap County. This is 8/8 of 24 that you're writing this, Home Skillet. The tip provided a male in his 60s was seen trying to entice children in Kingston, Washington, and he was driving a white Hyundai Elantra with Washington plate blank. The report also stated the male possibly worked or hung out near the Arco gas station in Kingston, Washington. The tip also stated the male had reported he was thinking of moving to Moscow, Idaho. So you got a dude trying to entice kids and y'all are just now talking about it? Okay. I contacted a deputy, Aaron Logdale, and asked him if anyone had made a report to them from 2021 about an older male trying to entice children. Deputy Logdale advised me they did not have a report and stated the case was closed, and he did not believe they ever identified a suspect in this case. Okay. The plate returned to C or JB from blank, Washington. Deputy Logdahl provided me with this info and then told me he would go to Arco gas station and do some follow-up 2 years later. Good luck with that. Deputy Logdahl called me back a short time later and told me he talked to several employees at the Arco, and none of them remember an older male matching that description or anyone who drove a white Hyundai Elantra. Not 2 years later. Deputy Logdahl provided me with a report number in case I needed it. On August 6th, I received an email for discovery, and it was asking if we had any reports from this tip. Once I so Ann Taylor asked for this information from them? I received an email for discovery. Interesting. Once I remembered what the tip was and what I did with it, I realized I never called Kitsap County back to get a copy of the report. On August 8th, 2024, I called Kitsap County and received a copy of Deputy Logdahl's agency assist report he completed for his assistance with me, and I also received a copy of the original report submitted to Kitsap County April 15th, 2021. April 15th, 2021. But Ann Taylor is asking for this? How odd. No suspect was ever identified in the case from Kitsap County. Nothing from this tip led us to believe it was related to the homicide case. Weird. 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 Okay. Brett Payne. Oh my goodness. The Oregon car. Eugene, Oregon, white Elantra follow-up in August of 2024. No wonder you don't work for the police department anymore, bro. Wow. Okay. Event report, EPD, event report 2, 3, and then the press released from Eugene Police Department. On Tuesday, August 6, 2024, I received another discovery request from the defense counsel in this case asking for documentation about a tip received and later acknowledged in an MPD press release about a white Hyundai Elantra that was found in Eugene, Oregon. The FBI tip line also received numerous tips about this vehicle. It was found that no report was written at the time which documented what information was obtained by the investigative team. However, the vehicle was deemed to be irrelevant to the investigation. In order to obtain the information likely used to make this determination, I contacted Eugene PD on August 8th, 2024, and requested any information they had about the white Elantra. I later received a secure email from EPD containing 4 attachments. The first was a press release referenced the vehicle. The other 3 were incident reports about the vehicle. The following information was obtained from the incident reports. The white Elantra, bearing Colorado license plate blank, was involved in a crash on 12/17 of 22 in Eugene, Oregon. Law enforcement and fire responded and contacted the driver. So at this point, Kohberger's in Pennsylvania because he was seen at the CVS in Pennsylvania on the 16th. The vehicle was reported 2 other times, hence the other 2 reports. One driver's license was run during the report and was listed as AR, not that AR. The vehicle was crashed and had extensive front end damage. The RO of the vehicle was determined to be AG. It is unclear who contacted G at the time of the report, but the determination was made that the vehicle was of no interest to investigators. The information provided by EPD is attached to this case. I know that there was some people that found like connections back to King Road with that car, but I never saw it like myself. I just know there's a lot of people that talked about it. I just don't know how true it is. I know that it was wild though, because that car that came out around the same time that they were asking the public to look for the white Hyundai Elantra, and like at the exact same time, perfect trifecta, the body cam of Banfield popped out at the exact same time, and like everyone's minds were just like for a minute because we didn't know what the frick we were looking at. AL discovery request. Okay. On Tuesday, August 6, 2024, I received another discovery request from the defense counsel in this case asking for the identity of blank in reference to surveillance video of Mogen and Goncalves the night of the homicides. It was determined with the limited information available at the time that blank was likely AL, that would be Adam Lauda. Lauda worked at the Corner Club and was a friend of the victims and Jack Decor. Lauda was interviewed by ISP detectives on 11/18/22, and the interview is documented under ISP supplemental number 5. I can't wait to get ISP's supplementals. They need to like come on with it. I'm about to like refile all my FOIAs. All of them. Pullman PD information. This is Brett Payne from 8/22/24. Is this the one right here where they asked for the damn? Yep. Okay. So whenever we went over the information that I had from Pullman Police Department, that live actually got taken down because of the Gmail accounts that were in there. So it never pinged my account. Like I don't have any strikes on my account, but it heard me say, because it gave me the timestamp where the problem in the video was. The email, like the notification gave me the timestamp. And it was literally where I said, oh, that's a Gmail account. That's like a person. I can't like have that on here. And like, I kept scrolling. The damn AI heard me say that. So it flagged my video. So then I went in there and I deleted the section where like that portion of it is. But apparently there was like something else like 20 something minutes later. And it didn't tell me that there was like another portion of it. So after I edited that portion out and then it like re-looked at it to see if I could post it, it ixnayed it. So like it's gone. I don't have like, it's not just like not there anymore. Like visually, it's not there anymore at all. So I'm going to have to go in and like go back through those documents and just do a video on like the important ones. This was one of the important ones. We had WSU information for the research assistant thing, a lot more of that information, but then we also had information, because I said it was like August or April of 2024. I couldn't remember, but it was one of the A ones. This is what it is. And I'm like, why is Brett Payne in August of 2024 just now asking for this spreadsheet? Because the spreadsheet, for those of you that were here, whenever we went through all the documents, it's literally like an Excel spreadsheet that has like the plate numbers and like where the car was seen. It's like 10 or 11 license plates from whenever they were looking around for a vehicle. And I'm like, why the hell are you just now asking for this? Like, shouldn't this be something that you got like a long ass time ago? Why are you just now asking for this? So I'm glad this is in here because the emails were from Brett Payne. On August 7th, 2024, I emailed PR, Support Services Manager for the Pullman Police Department, in order to request the following information related to this case. All reports, videos, photographs, notes, and communications from Pullman Police Department regarding their involvement in this case, including but not limited to all records from Sergeant Chris Engel, copy of Love's spreadsheet as referenced in Sergeant Engel's email to Pullman PD officers. Now, Sergeant Engel, there was also in the Pullman information, there was also an email from one of Ann Taylor's investigators, but it was a chick. She had also emailed Chris Engel to set up a meeting so that they could speak about his involvement in the case. But that's as far as the email went. Like, I don't know what else that was about because Pullman didn't help Moscow. Like, Jenkins makes it real well known that for the first time in like years, they didn't ask Pullman for help. And I find it, again, I say this a lot since we found this out. I find it strange that Fry knew not to involve Pullman before he even got to the scene. Like, this is while he's on the phone on his way home from being out of town. So it's interesting. You can't like not look at that because it's weird. This information was requested by defense counsel in this case. On Monday, August 19th and Tuesday, August 20th, I received the requested information from R. The files provided contained extensive email correspondence related to the search for Kohberger's name in the PPD email system, spreadsheets from OFC Love, St. Andre, and Sergeant Engel, MPD vehicle list, and an Axon body camera download. PPD also advised they searched their IM database for the keyword Kohberger for everything greater than 0 to 1623 and found 0 results. All of these items were burned to a CD and booked into MPD evidence for discovery on 8/22/24. I feel like you would definitely have, I mean, maybe not in the IMs, but I could have sworn there was one, like a conversation where they were trying to figure out what to do about the situation. Because, again, if you were here for it, there was an IM where it was in there twice. One of them completely blocked out, and then one of them wasn't. I still chose to go with the blocked out one because it still showed us the information they wanted us to see. Because the blocked out stuff was like them talking about going to picking up their kids from soccer and shit like that. And it wasn't necessary to the conversation. So yeah, they can't say that it's not technically in there because we saw something. Could have sworn we saw something, but okay. Okay, we're at number 300. It's 10:15. We might go ahead and just stop. How long have we been on? 2.5 hours. We're going to go ahead and stop, and we're going to end up doing another live tomorrow for the last 14 documents. Since it's already been 2.5 hours and it's getting late. Text between who? Dustin Blaker. Text between myself. Is this messages between him and Dylan and Bethany? I want to read these like right now. I have electronically attached the digital text between myself and Dylan and Bethany. On August 27th, 2024, I received an email from MS in reference to Discovery Request 407, text communications between Dylan Mortensen and myself, and text communications between Bethany Funk and myself. I went through my phone and found the text conversations I had with Dylan and Bethany back in 2022. I took screenshots of the text and have electronically attached them to this case file. I also have sent digital copies to M for discovery purposes. Interesting. I mean, I guess that's not too abnormal because I have text messages between me and the prosecutor's office, like their personal this 2 people's personal cell phones at the prosecutor's office. So I guess that's not like too unusual. I would really love to know what they talked about, though. I'd really love to know what they talked about, though. Okay. That's it for this one. Yes, delete because I have them on a USB drive and I don't need them on my computer no more. So, what did we learn today? That the soil doesn't add up. So they can't really like say anything about it because it has contents in the soil that has nothing to do with that area. We finally got to the document where it wasn't 94 samples of red stuff. It was 4. And there's a lot of just not validated bullshit in a lot of these, that a lot of these stupid content creators are just running with because it makes their headline look good. It just makes me mad. That part. I just seen it. That part. If you are a freaking FBI agent, if you are a police officer, if you're a lawyer, a prosecutor, anything like that, why is your name allowed to be redacted in a document? Hold on a second. Okay. Yeah, this is stupid. Haven't really learned like a lot of anything besides the fact that they really just don't know what they're doing. Who's arguing? Hold on a second. Who's arguing? Oh, so there's people in here that are actually stupid. That's not surprising. Who is it that's arguing? I'm like looking and I don't see anything. I don't know what I'm looking for. Somebody feel sorry for somebody named Ruby? Oh, this idiot. Well, that's because they're dumb and don't know how to use Google. I would just ignore it. Oh, yeah. Elf shoes. I'm sorry, but a man in elf shoes is not worried about women in windows. Maybe in a man in a window, but not worried about no women in a window. That's just wild. Dumb and dumb and dumb. Contact who? I don't see why. They must like, I guess Daniel at Drunk Turkey isn't, doing anything tonight, so they're over here being idiots. That's fine. I mean, just don't let them instigate. Y'all know better. Exactly. Y'all know facts. No, see, it wouldn't be a comment. It'd be a conversation because we talk on Twitter. It just really bothers me. Because, like, I know that you can read. Like, you sat there and said that you went through all those documents, but you're presenting the trash, the smut, instead of the truth. It's just gross. I just don't understand it. Y'all talking about grandpas now? Y'all are wild. I don't even know I honestly like don't even know like who's arguing about what. No, I mean I've talked to her. She's told me stuff about, stuff she doesn't tell other people about certain things. Like, yeah. Facts. So are thousands of other people that are innocent. I don't know why you're even like having this discussion. So, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I just don't get it. I don't understand what she's doing. Because again, like I really made a channel because of like what I saw her doing. And I was like, damn, like she's so digging into everything. She's bringing up every document. She's not leaving any stone unturned. She's literally looking at literally everything and she's not following the stupidity. I just don't know what happened. No, I don't know. I don't pay attention. Most of the time we don't have any chat drama. Most of the time everyone in here is like not an ignorant idiot. Because like this is subscribers only. So if you're in here, then you literally like press that subscribe button and you're wasting like your very limited time here on this planet, like over here running this for what? Honey baby, you need counseling. Get a life. That's all I can say. Like I can't even really be mad at these stupid idiots anymore because we've been dealing with them for like 3 years now. They're just ignorant. I just can't. Like if you're that stupid at this point, then you're choosing to. Like you're choosing to be ignorant. It's just pointless. I know that a lot of people have been questioning this kind of thing because so many of the other people had GoFundMes, but everything that I'm understanding is that they don't want any of that stuff. They really don't want any of that. They try to keep it all just like to themselves. Which, I mean, I understand because they're in a weird spot too. It's also kind of odd to me that his dad didn't go to the sentencing, but then again, his sister went, and it's actually really like pathetically, ironically hypocritical, right? Because like everyone makes like his eyes, Bryan Kohberger's eyes, like the way that his face is and his eyes. Okay, everyone's like, oh my god, his eyes, his eyes, his eyes. His sister has the same face. His sister that walked out of the courtroom has his face. She has his same eyes that are kind of like wide. It's hereditary, obviously. So it's a creepy stalker eyes, serial killer eyes. Oh my God, when it's a dude. But his literal like copy paste twin walks out of the courtroom looking like him with the same eyes. And now they want to say that she's some sort of psycho too. No, that's just how the family looks. Like what? Like how ridiculous. Yeah, they're different, but I mean, it's freaking hereditary, apparently. It doesn't mean anything. They just look like it. They just look like that. Like, that's just what their eyes look like. But see, I also heard that, like, his mom was having heart issues, but then his dad's not the one who showed up. Like, is the one who didn't show up. So I don't know if it's actually, like, the dad that's having issues or not. What do you think about the Tinder girl that has the same name as the first victim in the Scream movie and the guy that wrote the freaking movie? And the question is, do you like scary movies? Do what now? You talking about the redheaded chick? I don't remember her name. Because the redheaded girl and like the girl that we read the report about tonight, like it's not the same person. Because this one is like late in the game. Late in the game. So I don't know. Yeah, that's another thing. I don't even like watch those movies. Scream and all that stuff like that. That's not the kind of psychological anything that I'm into. I like things that actually make you think. Yeah, I don't think it said her name. It was like initials or whatever. But that's like another thing. Like you're sitting here saying like, oh, he said all these things and making it so like exaggerated. Like, did you not think that they were going to try to pull the records? And even without her records, they have his Tinder account. All they would have to do is go and look in his records. And it would show if he had a conversation with her and if that was what was said. Yeah, I don't watch none of those. I've seen Minority Report, but I will never watch it again because Tom Cruise is a freaking loser. The second that he stopped being a father just because she took their kid out of Scientology, I never watched another damn thing Tom Cruise did again. There's 50 BK lookalikes running around. I mean, I just don't see how people are acting like that. And his sister looks just like him. Like, y'all are ridiculous. Vanilla Sky is a good one. Mark Garagos has been saying some wild shit this entire case. I want to talk to you, Mark Garagos. I want to have a sit-down powwow with you, broski, because how did you know anything about the stalking thing to come out and say anything to begin with? Then the cops come out and they're like, there wasn't any stalking. And also the suspect not stalking anyone either. But then all of these reports are like, someone was stalking Kaylee since before May. What? What? From one Texas to another, figure that shit out. I don't know what that comment means. Have you figured out why it only shows he's charged with 2 murders right now? I haven't looked. So yeah, I don't know. Thin Blue Line. I know I've heard of that, but I'm sure it's about cops. I haven't watched it. Yeah, Mark Garagos has said wild things his entire career. I'm not going to start anything that people don't want. So there's that. I don't know what Sanpaku eyes are. Okay, yeah. Okay, I'm going to get off of here. I got clips of stuff I need to take care of tomorrow because we're almost done. I don't know what time we're going to go live. I have stuff I need to do early on in the afternoon after everything. I don't know what time. I don't know what time. We wing it here. We wing it here. I think I'll probably go live earlier on in the day so I can do like my members only live with my members, like the actual members only live tomorrow evening. So that we can do our normal Thursday live and go over some interviews. What's the best movie I ever saw? I like the number 23 with Jim Carrey. That's like the first one that comes to my mind because of the subject matter. But as for the best movie I've ever seen, I don't know. Good night, Miller time. Lots of channels are on Tsunami Watch right now. I saw that. I saw that. Let me see what is going on with that. Yeah. Is it saying? Evacuations in Japan and U.S. as major earthquake off Russia triggers widespread tsunami warning. Tsunamis are relentless. Oh my God. Tsunami alerts for Alaska, Hawaii, and the West Coast after earthquake in Russia. Like, as in California could get hit. I hope my ex-husband got a hold of his daddy because his dad lives in Hawaii. I mean, I'm sure that, shit. Well, now I know why my sister called me. My nephew's in the freaking hospital. Wow. Okay. Let me get off of here so that I can call her back. He's been sick since yesterday. Okay. Well, I'm going to get off of here. I will see you guys tomorrow. Y'all have a great night. Let me see what I missed real quick before I call her back. Thank you for the $2, Jules. Another call he doesn't record. Yeah, no shit. I don't even understand it. Thank you for joining, Katie. Miller time. 20 more memberships just to piss off Gray Hughes. I love it. Love it. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm going to get off of here, and I'm going to call her back. Y'all have a great night. Let me go ahead and close this out. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to all this crazy shit, because it's been some crazy shit, but we got more crazy shit to listen to tomorrow. Let me close this right here. Okay, let me pop this one on here. Please do not forget to leave a like on your way out and subscribe to the channel if you are not subscribed already. All right, you guys. See y'all.